Welcome back to the Side-by-Side Guys Offroad Podcast. I'm Big Z.
And I'm Ian with Full Throttle Battery.
Hey, and you're right there.
I am.
We're right next to each other.
Yeah. I can't see it, but
you can see it right there.
Oh, we're on a delay. I see. Okay.
No, stop watching your phone. Start watching the screen.
Hey, how am I supposed to troll if I'm not watching my phone?
Thanks for everybody for joining with us on Facebook and YouTube. We tried to get Instagram Live going, but they don't like to play ball, so that did not work. So
yeah, they're part of that meta thing, and they are absolutely freaking beta.
So meta.
So beta.
We like to be alpha around here.
That's right.
So. Well, we're here to cover the live stream of the Polaris Pro R launch. What do you think?
I'm stoked. I'm stoked, man. It's going to be a distracted podcast because we've got a chat room full of people that just want to troll, and I'm loving it. So I'm going to be engaging on Facebook. You're going to be engaging on YouTube.
I am not going to be gay.
I didn't say that.
You did.
Well, that was announced years ago. But no, it's going to be a good show, man. This is going to be like an interactive show. This is your show.
This is everybody's show.
Yeah,
this is the community. We're
sure,
doing this for the
sure.
community. We're doing it live for the community, so you can be with us, partake with us, react with us, comment with us.
Yeah, you guys want to talk about how my mullet's coming along? You guys want to talk about my Dune and Destroy hat, my Dixon flannel, Zach's Fox shirt. What kind of shirt you got? Or Fox hat. What kind of shirt you got going?
That's my Busted Knuckles shirt that I got from Oklahoma. So shout out to Busted Knuckle. And if you haven't checked them out, they got some pretty rad videos. They just had an awesome video of a RZR going up a hill, pirouetting, and then coming back down. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and just so you know that if Polaris has 300 horsepower on this Turbo R, Zach said he would shave his beard. So
we'll see. So if you guys can hear us, let me know. I just want to double check, make sure everything's golden for you. Before we jump into the live broadcast, I thought it would be fun to kind of go through the RJ video and kind of just get ourselves stoked for the announcement. There's obviously going to be some slow spots in the announcement. We'll try to cover those with commentary, some color. But when you guys have something to say, throw it out there. We'll try to interact with you. I'm covering the Facebook comments.
I'm covering the Facebook comments.
You're covering the Facebook. Yeah, I'm covering YouTube.
You're covering YouTube.
So
if you haven't seen the Hoonigan video, here we go, right?
Right. We're going to throw that up here and get the party started. The Hoonigans always do such a good job with their videos.
Yeah, we got some who's who on this video. We got Parsons, we got Wilkie, we got Tanner Foust, a bunch of lowriders.
Yeah, we got a lot of people involved in this video that are of names. The silhouette drops, love those.
Yeah. Tell you what else is involved in this video is my libido. Look at that thing.
Whoa! So some people have pointed out that RJ's car here is, you'll see on the steering wheel there, it's a Pro Ultimate body, but has Walker Evans shocks on it. Yeah. So it does not have the Fox
he may or may
DV
not be
shocks
sponsored by a few people.
Yeah. 96 octane going into it. Obviously, that's his tune on the car and performance upgrades. Not going to be stocked that way. Man line intro. I thought that was pretty appropriate for a Hoonigan video.
So how bad do you want a handbrake now?
Oh, I've always wanted a handbrake. Ever since Indecent came out with theirs, I wanted to get one.
Yeah, I've thought about it, but it wasn't until I rode one that had a handbrake on it that I really kind of got some value out of it. But now that I had 300 horsepower, I don't really need one. So, really quick, tell me how close this is, man. He almost flatlands.
Yeah, watch his.
This
watch
is so gnarly.
His passenger rear. This is sketch as heck. But how many of us want to hit that jump? Look at that. Ooh, slides right off.
Watch the head here.
From what he slaps pretty hard. From what I've heard, that he broke the wheel on that jump. So they had to stop and replace it and all. But
not shocking. That was gnarly.
I mean, and just for everybody to know, this is not a one-shot thing. This is a multi-day excursion into the city to get this done.
Yeah, missed opportunity on a stoppie on that one right there.
I think you just volunteered your car to try.
Oh, I'll give it a go for sure.
How about the sound of that motor?
It's having an effect on me. Crispy slow-mo.
So interesting on that parking the parking stop moguls there. They started with 1, but it didn't do anything to the car. It just stayed flat. So they had to add 4 more to make it work.
Yeah. And here we have the little 2-wheel trendy stuff here.
I still think I need to learn how to do that.
Yeah. Doesn't do a lot for me.
I think it's like wheelies. Once you do it, you'll probably want to do it a bunch.
Maybe. I mean, I respect it, but Tanner Foust.
Now, shout out to these guys and their skill. I mean, come on.
Tanner?
All the guys.
Yeah,
in
I
this
heard he
video.
can drive.
It's just, everyone thinks, oh, I can do that. You know, it's a different thing to be able to do it on cue, on a dime, anywhere you're called to do it. I'm not getting any feedback at YouTube. Anyone hear us out there?
Oh, yeah. They're too busy gazing at your beard.
The beard does take up a large majority of my shot.
Yeah, the comments on Facebook have slowed down enough that it kind of makes me wonder if some of these people haven't seen this video yet. It's pretty epic.
Who hasn't wanted to flip and drive their UTV through the stairs and stuff at various different places?
How's the exhaust note on that thing? Pretty sick.
It kind of reminds me of a Kawasaki KRX with a little bit more girth.
And a few more RPMs. Now we got the homies here.
Oh, we got Blakey, we got Parsons.
Yeah, I want to read through the non-disclosure agreement that they had to sign because this is the worst kept secret in off-road,
And nobody knew this was.
Oh yeah, and two of our two people I know are in this video, and they said nothing about it at all.
It'd be interesting to see if how many of those cars actually could win in a drag race with some traction.
Yeah. Yeah, John just commented he's seen this video, but he loves it. I've seen this video probably about 3 times. It does not get old. It's sick. Little Baywatch throwback here. That little blondie's too thick to be a Pamela Anderson knockoff.
The gal in the swimsuit, she's somebody that's known. I just can't remember who it is at the moment. It's not just a random chick.
And we're good.
So this was the segment inspired by Joey D. If you don't know Joey D, he's deep into the lowrider classic car scene. So
yeah,
this is definitely Joey's thumbprint.
Steve Gagney just commented. He says he can't hear you. Said I put the earplugs in so I don't hear the wife. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
So can you guys hear Ian, just not me?
Oh, they'd be rioting if they couldn't hear me. They'd be flipping over cop cars on the 6 o'clock news.
All right, looks like we're about 7 minutes away from Polaris going live. Thanks, John. All right.
Shout out to John, by the way. That's the homie from Dune and Destroy. The lid.
Yeah, they were. Kyle was just on Dirt Life with our buddy George Hamill last night, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I can thank John that like half of my wardrobe now is Dune and Destroy clothes.
Did he let you borrow his shirt?
No, this is my shirt. I was the OG on the shirt.
Yeah. So go, if you haven't heard yet, Ian's taking donations for Christmas of Dixon Flannels. You can go online and gift that to him.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. What do you think? We got a few minutes here before the launch. We got just over 5 minutes. Kind of what's your thought process in going into this? Are you just ready to absorb?
I want to see a full-blown Steve Jobs frickin' reveal. I want it to be lame. I want to see black turtlenecks.
You want them to come out and be like,
oh, yeah.
It's 4 cylinders.
No,
it's fast.
I just want it to be corporate as hell. Yeah. No influencers at all. No real riders.
Yeah. No, that's...
Let's just get some CEO that doesn't know what he's talking about.
I think the CEO very well knows what he's talking about, but I think we're going to see a lot of influencers in the next 24 hours. They've been kind of riding that train the last couple of years. So obviously we all kind of know a lot of the specs. We're 2-liter, suspension, the trailing arms, the toe length, the lower A-arm shock mounts, the new Fox shocks, which I'm totally stoked on. If you haven't seen the post on that, they're coming out with some new live dynamic shocks from Fox with both rebound and compression.
We covered that on the last show.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to you on that one. I think we recorded and then you had that live like 6 hours later.
Yeah,
you were up a while.
Yeah. When it comes to podcasts, I don't sleep much. So,
we got some audio of my X3 in the background here. What's going on?
Being quiet, not being driven.
No, can you?
Are you hearing something? Maybe
no, all I hear is burnouts.
Maybe the video went live. Let's take a look here.
It did not.
Well, that's the RJ video. So let's refresh this.
Are we thinking
they're
that
still going 3 minutes?
Are we thinking that car on the right? No, that car on the right's not a 4-seater.
It is a 4-seater.
Is it?
Yep. I thought it was a different cage, but it's actually a 4-seater. So that's your B pillar right there.
Yep.
Yeah. So I initially thought the teaser picture with the 2 car silhouettes, the one on the right being the Turbo S, I thought it was a 2-seater with like maybe a safari rack or maybe some sort of extended cage, but that's actually a 4-seater that somebody called me out on. So excited. I'm a 4-seater guy, so obviously there's a 4-seater coming, and I'm totally stoked on that.
Yeah, John said he wants to see a potential trans option, which that's kind of a no-no topic. I heard Dave Chappelle's like in a lot of trouble for talking
we can't talk
this.
about trannies on the show without getting flagged. So.
Yeah. Children are watching, John. Come on. But no, a manual transmission would be epic. And I heard that there is some rumors going around that some of the OEs are going to be going down that road.
I think everybody eventually has to get there, because that's kind of the transition to electric.
There's that word again.
Yeah.
Transition.
Hey, we got to put the on it.
So you're going to get demonetized just for
what can I say?
Explicitness.
If anyone hasn't followed Ian's stories this morning, it's getting real around here. So we're live here in the battle station of my studio office. We got tons of stuff surrounding me at the moment, so I feel like I'm kind of plugged into the matrix here. And we should be going live here in about 2 minutes, 15 seconds with Polaris.
How are you not working for Tom Brokaw or like Ted Koppel?
Because Tom Brokaw is almost dead.
Well, whatever, but like, man, he's got the producer game down pat, man. Go show them how many freaking windows you got going on this thing. so here's our.
We got our double up.
Yeah, we got the double up.
We got the double up with the live preview.
Oh yeah.
We got the double up with the large preview. We have the double up with my desktop, so we can do some web surfing and whatnot.
That should be.
And then we got it all together. So I am ready to conquer this and do the best job I can possibly do on short notice, even though I have plenty of time to plan for this.
Yeah. David just commented he'd like to see some different engine options. Well, buddy, you are going to be pleasantly surprised, my friend.
So we've talked briefly on the previous podcast about whether or not we're going to see multiple options outside of just the 2-liter that's coming out. They did tease, engine options up to 2 liters. So is that going to be the standard, ProStar twin that is in the Turbo S that got discontinued and everything else, or is it in the Pro XP? Or are we going to see maybe a third option come into play? And I know last time you talked about, that probably not happening. And we know that there's a triple in the wings, whether or not they ever put it out. Who knows? I think I talked with you a little bit about my theory. My current working theory is that the triple is coming just after the 2-liter, and it's going to supplant the twin eventually and be Can-Am versus Polaris in the triple market.
Yeah, Kenny said 4-way steer would be sick, but what wouldn't be sick is $55,000 UTVs. So.
Well, if they're justified.
Yeah.
Just price gouging is a little sketch.
Kenny must be from the south where they do a lot of crawling, a lot of tight trails and stuff, my guess.
So just real quick before we start, we're a few seconds away from them going live. Shout out to everybody that joined us live in the chat rooms early. We got Logan, Matt, Tristan, Ricardo, Steve, Tyler. We got
bunch of
Wyatt. Wyatt's in the house. Shout out to Wyatt for tearing it up this year. Wade, Steven.
Isn't Wyatt supposed to be in school?
Maybe. So looks like we're about to go live here. I'm getting some tags online. I am not going to be responding to them because I have 40 things I'm doing at once at the moment.
Produce.
So let me go ahead and just refresh the feed here and make sure we get it live.
John said been waiting almost 2 years for this, which is subsequently about the time we announced that this thing was coming. So we have been waiting too, my friend.
All right, so the video started streaming, so we can go full screen here, and we're ready to rock and roll. All right, we got some people talking Norway. Shout out to Norway. What is it, like 1 a.m. there?
Well, what's London? 8 hours? It is pretty close to about 1 a.m. in Norway.
I would love to say the gentleman's name from Norway, but I would completely butcher it. So.
Oh, we got Dustin Johnson in the house, Alex Ochoa. We got Marcus from North Bend. We've got Doug. What's up, Doug?
We got Tyler from Temecula Motorsports.
Derek. What's up, Derek? Bold new colors. That's the only reason I'm here is for those bold new graphics, my man.
I'm really looking for a new gray.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Screw 2 liters.
Got Andrew from Vegas. Do we have anybody from like Minnesota, like where they're doing this?
No, this is a West Coast show.
Are we banned in Minnesota?
Minnesota.
Oh man. So, well, the video should be live. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
here.
Dustin's commenting here. I don't know that Dustin and I have actually met each other, but Dustin is kind of in the same realm as I am. I think he and I are in the FJ Cruiser forums, 4-wheel drive forums. I think we both have a dirt bike background.
Oh, here we go.
Now we're on
I
UTV.
just had to restart the stream there.
Oh, I already saw one influencer.
And explorers
I'm sure
further
you're gonna
than
see a
they've
bunch of
ever
them.
gone before.
Illinois
Since
here.
then, we've been on the
on,
gas, constantly refining
Chuck's from
design
Minnesota.
and
There's your answer right
aggressively
there.
accelerating innovation to keep the sport racing forward.
Kenny asked if it's 74 wide. It
Undeterred
better
by the
be.
limits of
More
conventional
than likely gonna be
thinking,
74.
Yeah.
we keep finding bold new ways to do what
Oh,
once
bold new
seemed
ways.
impossible.
They love their bold new.
We got Costa Rica in the house now. Arkansas.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Rutledge Wood, and
Hi,
thanks for
Rutledge.
joining us
All right,
for
I'm
one of
outta
the
here.
most historic launches in Polaris RZR
Competing
history.
flannels.
Yeah, I'm
when
out of
people
here.
talk about the evolution of side-by-side culture, racing, exploration, and vision,
Cody's calling a
there's
shot,
only one
225
vehicle
horsepower.
that not only started it all, but continues to push the limits and leave a lasting mark both on and off the track. The Polaris RZR.
Funny they're talking
Now,
about the
today,
track right off
we
the bat.
mark a new chapter in the history of Polaris as we set forth a new generation of Polaris RZR, one that dramatically raises the bar and sets a new standard for side-by-side design and performance.
Big Papa saying 32,000 for the 4-cylinder 2-seater.
At this point, the fact that an all-new Polaris RZR is coming
RJ in the
is no
background there.
secret. That's because 3 weeks ago, the entire off-road
More like
world
2.5
was
years
treated
ago.
to a jaw-dropping spectacle with RJ Anderson behind the wheel of the new RZR, turning the city and beaches of Long Beach, California into his own personal off-road playground.
By the way, Polaris, if you ever want a guy to sit and watch what you do, let me know. I would love to watch filming on the beach. Hey, it's almost like we just watched this.
Are we replaying this? We should add some inside info. Let's turn the volume down on that. Nobody wants to hear this again.
I just want to hear the motor again.
I wanna hear
Forgot to get my obligatory.
Oh, yeah. I know what everybody wants to know is which full throttle battery will fit into this thing.
I think you're.
Nobody cares about horsepower.
The chassis not changing, so the tub's not changing, so you can rock 2 560s, right?
Oh, yeah. What do we think on this thing?
Listen to that.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah, I'm thinking like 1,800 pounds.
I'm thinking 19.
You think so? Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
Did you see that? I mean,
No,
that
I
video
saw it.
is
Did you see it?
Absolutely
I saw it.
mind-blowing. So, in addition to the Hoonigan video, Polaris has
Okay,
pumped
so
out
Dale
a bunch
Reed,
of videos
who
that
went
really
on
set
an
the stage
expedition
for this
with me, Dale
incredible
Reed
new
just posted
RZR
a link.
debut.
It said that
As
the
every
details on the car are live right
adrenaline-hungry,
now.
Did the website go live?
Yeah.
rock-crawling side-by-side driver knows, the
Hopefully the
RZR
bigger
not
battery.
only
Hell yeah,
created the
Marcus.
performance
Looks like the
UTV
Turbo
industry,
R and
but
Pro
also
R.
continues to push
Dale,
its
you got a
boundaries
horsepower number on there?
year
I don't know if we
after
can
year.
jump into
the
it.
next generation of RZR sets an entirely new standard in 3 critical areas.
Wow, their website
Power,
never even went down
strength,
today.
And
Yeah.
control.
That's pretty impressive.
Power coming courtesy of a monster engine
yeah,
delivering
Pro R,
more horsepower
Turbo R.
than any other side-by-side to date. A next-level roll cage and chassis
Taylor,
delivering the level
Taylor
of
from
strength
AMP just said
typically
225.
only found through significant
My guess is they're
aftermarket
sugarcoating that.
modification. and control,
Because
thanks to
Can-Am,
what is arguably the most technologically advanced suspension
Can-Am's
system
almost
ever
putting 200 of
developed
the tire.
for
Oh,
a stock machine.
1700 watt stator.
Now I could go on
Starting
and
at-
on,
so
but
the Pro
instead,
R.
joining us today is Polaris Off-Road President Steve
181 on
Mineta.
the turbo
Steve's
is what
here to
Dale
share more
said.
about the new
So starting
offering
at
and why it's so
32,000 for the Pro
important,
R,
not only to Polaris, but to the
and
entire
starting at
off-road
26
industry.
for
Steve,
the Turbo
thanks
R.
for joining us, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
I
Dude,
mean,
look
to
at
be
those
at this
freaking
historic launch for the
A-arms.
RZR is unbelievable.
Wow.
Look how far
What's the
down they are.
inspiration
I know.
behind the new RZRs?
It's always customer inspired. We
So 181
innovate,
on
we
the
push
turbo, that's the
boundaries,
same
we
as
do what we can to make it a
41K
great
top trim
experience
is what
on
Derek
RZR.
said.
We really
225 on the Pro R.
So looking at the Pro R, we have the 1997 slingshot motor that we talked about.
Yeah.
225 horsepower.
What's the weight?
2,085 pounds. So I was pretty close.
That's a bear.
New gas tank, 12-gallon gas tank.
That's what my Pro is, though.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was 9.5. Payload capacity 740, wheelbase 104.5. So that's up from 96, I think.
What's the X3?
I think the X3 is
About that.
98 or
Is it?
something.
Going to events, spending a lot of time reading blogs online.
1700 watt charging system. So let me do the math.
So that's a slingshot stator
let me look at
alternator.
this real quick. 29 inches of rear wheel travel.
So these are the new. They comes with the new. I was calling out the tires earlier about the Maxxis Rampage tires. I didn't know that's what they were, but they had new tires. So Rampage Fury is the tires it's coming with. 32 1015s all the way around, 8-ply, 15.7, 5-lug wheels.
Our suspension, connected vehicles. How do we drive a better experience for our overall customers? And we plow that right into
Three-piece
the
sway
products
bars.
and make just super awesome products.
That's pretty
Am I
impressive.
correct in thinking these are going to be the most
Base model Walker Evans 3.0
advanced
velocity
side-by-sides that
shocks,
the world has
16
ever seen?
adjustable.
You're definitely
What did we
correct
say,
on that.
1700
From our
watts?
engine, the horsepower.
I was
It's all about
1650 or
getting
something like that.
Power, that strength and
where
control
does it say
in the
that?
vehicles and letting them just go crazy with it.
Holy
I think it's
cow,
about time
man!
we
That's 140
introduce the
watts,
latest,
man, or
the
140
greatest
amps.
from Polaris
Right.
RZR.
So the
It's
hottest,
the
the
slingshot.
hottest stator right now.
Thank
That's
you.
double the
It's an
hottest stator.
alternator. It's a
Right.
belt
Oh,
driven
I'm
alternator.
sure, yeah.
Everyone at Polaris,
So let's take a look at the R. Oh, let's go back to the.
all-new
So you got 141
RZR
amps to work with on this
RZR
car. You're going to
Turbo
see
R.
SSV, Rockford, and some of the bigger stereo companies come out with monster stereos for this thing because it'll be able to push it.
All right, let's just take a little launch video watch
Introducing
here.
an entirely new category of side-by-side performance, built for those who live wide open. The all-new RZR Turbo R and revolutionary RZR Pro R. This pair of new industry leaders is reimagined from the ground up to put you at the top of the food chain. RZR Turbo R sets a bold new standard for performance side-by-sides. It's incredibly responsive, remarkably agile, and ruggedly strong. RZR Turbo R is a flat-out monster. The revolutionary RZR Pro R is an absolute beast. And RZR Pro
So the same
R
turbo
has the
method-
strength to
motor.
match its power and performance. So no matter how wild the ride, you've always got the strength
925
to keep
cc,
going.
181 horsepower, same motor that was in the Pro XP.
In the race to rule side-by-side performance, RZR now holds the top
1943
two
pounds.
spots. Confident
So I was
in the
pretty dead on
jaw-dropping
1900
performance
pounds.
and incredible strength of this bold new breed.
Dale's asking if
It's
we got a
time
locker
to
up front.
take your place at the front of the pack.
Oh, we didn't learn much there.
That's right, everyone. Not one, but
Then we're
two
back to
new
Rutledge.
RZR models. And these things look incredible. The new Polaris
You should
RZR
fold your pants
Pro
up like
R
that.
and
No,
RZR
I'm
Turbo
good.
R represent a new standard in off-road power, strength, and control. Both vehicles expand the possibilities of off-road performance, whether tackling dirt tracks,
Rutledge
trail
looks like he
systems,
takes
desert
baths in
dunes, or
freaking
the
microbrews.
wildest rugged off-road terrain.
Let's not get
RZR
attacking
Pro R will
on
be
this
hitting dealers in
episode.
early 2022.
He's got
while
that
RZR
hipster
Turbo
game,
R
like-
is slated to hit dealers in spring. Now for
Spring?
a deeper dive into the details of both of these incredible machines, I'd like to introduce Pat McCardle, Director of Product for Polaris RZR. Thanks for joining us, Pat.
Yeah, it's great to be here, man.
Turbo R
Nobody knows
two-seater
these beastly machines better than you
ultimate
do.
trim is
Would you take a minute, we
33,000.
can walk around them, check them out?
Yeah, let's wander over and check it out.
So Pat, this is it. This is the best of the best right here. This is the RZR
They have a
Pro
launch
R
edition.
four-seater.
That'll be interesting. It's
So
41,000.
Tell me some of the
Yeah,
things
look at that.
make
Look at
this
that
so
lower.
new and so special.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This is the ultimate trim. So this is the top of the line, right? We got power, strength, and control. If we look at power, there's a huge power plant in the back of this thing we can talk about, right? We got a new 4-cylinder engine,
pumping out 225 horsepower. You know, it's 4-valve per cylinder, dual overhead cam, so kind of classic Polaris Pro Star, you know, technology.
Because it is
there.
the same thing,
There's
just doubled up.
some, you know, questions we've seen popping up. People are wondering, hey, did you guys just drop a slingshot engine in this?
Sure.
The answer is
Yes.
no, we didn't. We designed this engine for the off-road application for a RZR. So when you look at it, we've got things like a lightweight crankshaft, so this motor can rev really quick, you know, in this machine.
Yeah, but I'll bet you the block
We've got
is the same,
a
though.
unique oiling system so that we can hit high angularities. So when you're going up and down and climbing things off-road, you don't have to worry about starving that oil pump.
Sure.
I mean, it's a really sweet engine when you get to hear it sing. And the other thing that's cool is we've actually got user selectable throttle modes now. So there's a switch on the dash that if
Pedal
you flip it
commander
all the way
integrated.
down, that's going to put you in sport mode. So it's right here in the center. That's going to operate just like a classic RZR that you're used to for how you push
Shout out
that pedal
to,
and how the engine reacts. When you flip
the
the
RMAX
middle
for having
position,
that
that's
already.
actually going to be used for slow speed rock crawling.
Yeah.
So when you really want to be able to see that front tire rock up and
Can-Am
over
has
things,
that
you
too
can
on
use
the
that one.
RC.
Oh, yeah,
And
they do.
all the way
The Sport-
up
Sport
is when
Plus.
you know, just want to go Johnny on the hard gas. That's the race mode. So it's going to be the fastest reacting mode.
can't
When
wait
you
to
start
take
tipping
a
in that
shock
pedal, the
off to
machine's going
replace
to throw
an
you
axle.
back in the seat and go. So it's a ton of fun. You know, as we keep going back from the engine, connecting out to the wheels, we've got an all new set of clutches and belt on this. So we've actually gone to a longer belt with a longer center distance.
Lightweight primary.
So we've increased the
High
strength of that to
airflow
match
secondary.
the power of the engine. We've also improved the airflow through there. So it's a whole new clutch setup on this one.
And that's all about cooling. That's trying to get the most out of it, get that power down to the
Look how
ground.
ugly
You
that
got it,
cage bracing
exactly.
is.
So then we keep going back from there. Standard kind of park, reverse, neutral, low, high gear transmission. So you can select that, but we have gear down low on this. So it's a little more capable and technical
Rotella
riding. So
dusting.
instead of, you know, having a really fast speed when you're in low, you know, it's gonna top out right around 30 miles an hour and give you really good slow speed control. And then when you flip to high, you're gonna be able to run flat out in the desert. So it's gonna be, you know, put that grin on your face while you go.
It's, what are we talking, what do we think top speed? We're getting close to 90?
Yeah, and the two-seater will go 90 miles an hour. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. for
Goodness
sure, man.
gracious.
Yeah, so then when you go
Is
back
there
from
regulatory
there, we got
around
a, you know,
mile
lock
per hour,
spool in the
max
rear,
mile
so
per hour?
back wheels are always
That's what I'm
spinning.
aware of.
There's a new rear gear case, and then we've actually got an all-new front drive in this too. So
New
there's a
rear gear
four-wheel
case, new
drive
front.
system. And if you look on your side, you've actually got the switch for that. So when that switches all the way down, you're in two-wheel drive, so lock rear
Nobody
end,
cares
like
about
any
this
RZR
stuff.
we've
We
had
want to
in the
know what the
past.
biggest size
When
light
you go to
bar
the
we can
middle,
put
it's
on it.
actually going to put it in four-wheel drive, but with an unlocked
What's the
front
best
dish.
whip we can
So that's
put
going to
on
be
it?
good for high-speed cruising or where you're just out, you know, riding around. But if you need ultimate traction, flip that switch all the way up, and you're going to lock that front end. You're going to
There
get
you go.
one-to-one ratio, so all four wheels
Lockers.
are pulling.
Lockers.
So think of that, you know, when you're rock crawling or real technical.
Polaris is
or,
really
you know,
going
you're sitting at the
one-to-one with
bottom of
Can-Am on all their
Glamis
features
and you want to
with this
race up
launch.
the hill, you want all four wheels pulling you off the line for that.
That's huge.
That thing
man.
needs
Yeah,
35s,
for sure.
that big
so,
four-seater.
You know, not just a new
Four-seaters
engine in this
don't look
thing,
right without
but a whole
33s
new
or bigger.
driveline
Yeah.
to get that power all the way out to the wheels.
Well, and then when you look at how you're going to use that kind of power, I mean, the strength of this thing is.
Tell you
I
how
mean,
to
first
use that
off,
power.
I'm 6'3", and it's way bigger than me. But man,
He's
roll
6'3"?
cage and everything else. This sucker is so beefy.
Yeah, so when you look at strength, right, there's some things you can't see. Like, so this has got a one-piece
Oh, here we go.
mainframe, so it's fully welded front to back, no joint in the middle like some of our older models had. And even the cage on the Pro R is a one-piece cage now. So the only places that there's bolts between the chassis and cage are the points like A, B, C, and D pillar. And we use some, you know, beefy 2-inch tubing on this, fully
Yeah,
gusseted
2-inch.
up
Gonna love
cage.
that.
It's a really nice system there.
2-inch
You know, when
tubing,
you
but
look
how
at
thick?
strength, though, it's not just about the chassis and cage, right? We got to think about things like the suspension. So if we walk back up to the front of this, you know, you look down at these control arms, and you can see the beef just visually looking at it.
Pat,
Right?
they are
Where's the beef?
massive,
They're
man.
huge, yeah, absolutely. And we've got the shock, you know, mounted down to the lower control arm, you know, straddling that half shaft going out
Right.
to the wheel. So it's a really unique
That,
design that
sway
helps
bar
bring that shock
looks
down and keep
legitimately
good sight
race
lines
ready.
over the hood. So yeah, you know, you look, you go front suspension, super
What do you say
beefy,
tube thickness
chassis,
was?
cage, you know,
Derek-
everything's beefy.
Derek
up.
said
he
You
had
get out to the
2-inch
wheel
tubing.
end, we've got 5-bolt hubs for the
The
first
actual,
time, and it's a
thickness
unitized
up.
I don't
hub
think he
bearing.
said
So,
the actual
I don't
dom.
think
you know, you don't have to
either.
worry about clamping tons of load through that half shaft. It's a really strengthened up system.
Now, to put all these things together, it's got to come through in that control that the driver feels. So where are the areas that this thing really shines on control?
Yeah, so if you think about control, one of the cool things, especially on this Ultimate trim, when you get Dynamics Active Suspension, is that we used to just have kind of comfort, sport, and firm, and you set your baseline damping and adjusted from there. Well, now we've made it a little more terrain or event specific. So you've actually got comfort, track, Baja, and rock. And as you go, like, the cool thing about it is not only are we adjusting the shocks at all four corners, but we're actually adjusting the steering feel too. So the assist changes as you change those modes. So we're able to give you, you know, nice light steering when you're in a mode like comfort and you're just cruising
Yeah,
around
they haven't
all
done that
day.
before where
We can
they
give you
electronically
heavier steering
change
and
the
better
electronic
feedback when you're
steering
in that track
ratios on
mode,
the
so
fly
when
like
you're,
that.
railing on
So
smoother
that's something
terrains.
interesting to try out.
When you
A
get
lot
to
of
rock,
comments
we're going to
on
give you the
YouTube.
most assist we can for that low speed drivability. And the Dynamics even does cool stuff like lean you into the hill now because we have both compression and rebound control for the first time independent on this.
Pat, the RZR Pro R is insane. This thing's a monster. Can
And
we
just
go
for
check
everybody
the
calling
Turbo
out the
R?
clutch,
Absolutely.
the
Let's
CVT
head
still
check
being
it
there,
out,
they have to have room to grow. This is a
So
10-year
Pat,
plan
the RZR
or more.
Turbo R
And we're
is
like
so
about
different from some of the
8.6
turbo models in the
horsepower per
past. Let's
pound.
talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Turbo R is really
That
the
question
replacement
came up on
lineup for
YouTube.
the old Turbo S that we stopped building after model year 21. And there's a heck of a lot of upgrades to this model.
Interesting
right?
mirrors
We've
they put
got,
on
you know,
there. Are
one-piece
those assaults?
chassis. We've got the
Yeah,
new
those are
style.
assaults.
We've got the new interior. We've got the tilt and telescoping steering on it. When you go in the back, we've upgraded the transmission with wider
I'm
gears
not
and better
feeling that
bearings.
axle placement.
We've strengthened up, you know, the shafts all around to get out to the wheel ends. We put bigger brakes on this that are actually shared with the Pro R.
Nice.
So we got huge triple piston calipers up front, duals in the back, and there's a cool top hat rotor design that's actually two-piece. So it's aluminum on the inside, steel where the brake pads contact. So we can really keep a little weight out of that for that unsprung mass at the corners.
Have they talked about the axles
Yeah, so there's a lot
outside?
of things that are actually shared between the Turbo R and the Pro R. You know, we've got things like Dynamics
DV.
active suspension, where we've got the 4 different modes of comfort,
Almost like I've
track,
seen that before.
rock, and Baja.
Nice.
And not only is that going to
That
do the
camera angle?
Dynamics DV, so the compression and rebound.
No,
on
I
the
posted
shocks,
that
but the
like
steering
2
as
days
well.
ago.
So you get a lot of, you know, cool technology coming to this. The other thing I haven't mentioned on either is the ride command technology. Right, so we've got, you know, awesome GPS navigation. You can.
I'm going to say
pair
that they've
these
stepped up their
units
production
you know,
game
with
this
other
year.
RZRs
This
or
looks
other
way
people
better
that
than the
have
last
that,
few
so you
years
can
of their
actually see where they're
launches.
at on maps.
So
You know, if
shout
somebody
out to
needs
their
stop for a
production
trail
company.
break, they can send you a
Kenny
message
asks if
right
we
through your
order it,
display,
when will
it'll
we get
pop
it?
up.
That's
So it
the
makes
big
it
question,
so
my
everybody kinda
friend.
gets
Well, they
that
already said
tunnel
spring,
line
so-
out of
Really?
the dust
Yeah.
experience if you use it right.
That's
Super
amazing.
cool.
You're dropping a pin for your friend, except using the technology.
So
that
this
exists
this
with
whole
these
texting
vehicles
thing
to
going
make
on,
those
that's all
experiences
stuff they
better.
brought
Yeah,
over from
absolutely.
their
I mean, like, you know, a lot of times
GPS
I go ride with
acquisition with
people and I've
the,
been around for a while, so I
what's
get
that
to be the guy in
GPS
the front,
navigation
so
company
no
that has
eating
the
dust.
little
Right? Well, now the nice thing is
display.
I can go out a mile, let the person behind me just track my
Can't
dot
remember
on
at the
their
moment.
map.
Trail Tech?
And now
Trail
they
Tech,
can,
yeah.
can
So they acquired
experience
Trail
that
Tech and
goodness
like a
of
patents
fresh
and a
clean
bunch
Yeah,
of
they've
their
owned
team.
Trail Tech
That's
for
huge.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
It
that's
also
where that
seems like
technology
you
came
guys have
from.
really worked with a bunch of aftermarket companies to make sure that you've got a line of accessories ready to roll.
Absolutely, yeah. So on both these models,
You'll
we've
notice
got,
that the
you know,
radiator
70
grill is
accessories
full
that
width
fit
now.
either
It's
one.
not as narrow as
We've
it
got
used to
companies
be.
like
So it's
Rockford
kind of like the
Foust on
XP
integrated
turbos when they
audio
launched.
that
They
you
got a
can
bigger
upgrade, you know, and
radiator
add on
opening.
more speakers and subwoofers. We've got guys like Rigid that we're working with on light bars. We've got
Oh,
Pro
wow.
Armor on wheels,
That's
tires,
killer.
cages,
That
doors.
came out last year.
Yes, there's a lot of cool
not
companies
on
that
their
we've been able
stock,
to
though,
partner
right?
with.
No.
You know,
Yours is just
Assault, you
ready
can
in
see
the
them on the
No, you have
mirrors.
to
They've
buy
got
it,
some
yeah.
grills and other things. So
But
a lot
they-
of these
they do all
companies
the
that,
wiring
you know, people have
chases and all
known,
that
we
stuff
actually
now.
partnered
I saw
with
some
long ago
mirrors on
and
there that weren't
co-developed
Sector
along the
7.
way, so that when
Womp
we launched
womp.
the Turbo R and Pro R, we'd have the full catalog of accessories ready to go.
Sector
Man,
7
that's
only
awesome.
for life,
You and
baby.
your team absolutely
Shout out to
crushed it.
Danny and
These
Lynn.
two machines
Make
are
the best mirrors on the market.
incredible,
American
and I
made,
know
American
people can't
sourced.
wait to get behind
Go
the
on
wheel
all
of
our
this
machines
job.
for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely, man. The team did a hell of a job on these, and I'm super excited to be able to get to bring them out now.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I will say with the improved
And now it's time
front
to
fascia, it
welcome
looks a
one of
lot
the
better
most
than the narrow
iconic
one.
pro drivers in off-road racing today, RJ Anderson. RJ, what's up, brother?
Who's that?
What's going on, Rutledge?
Nice to see you, man. You had a chance to
RJ
get
has
behind the
great
wheel
teeth.
of one of these bad boys, and millions of people saw it with you and the new RZR Pro R. Tell us about.
By the way,
He
him
looks,
and his-
he looks nervous, too.
Him and his brother are the skinniest two
Oh, they
racers
are,
I've
man.
ever seen.
Yeah, his brother's as tall as
but
I am.
Also,
Yeah,
to
but
take
they're
this
like
brand new
5 pounds
Polaris
each.
Oh, I know,
streets
they weigh
of
like
Long Beach,
130.
I mean, talk about a dream come true. That was some epic places, and to be one of the first to ever even see this machine, get behind the wheel and go tear up an urban environment like that, talk about a life-changing experience. That was a blast.
I mean, 4 wide on the beach in Long Beach. You went up over the stairs, the highway, the parking deck with it. I'm pretty sure I was Tanner Foust in that taxi. How did you look at all that and go, oh, we can totally do this in a new Pro R?
Because he can
So a lot
drive.
of those stunts were even all new to me. I'd never jumped and landed on a staircase, went up the staircase, 2 wheels while someone's doing donuts around me. I mean, just kind of, displaying what the cars are capable of. But at the same time going into it, the Pro R was all new to me. I didn't know what it
Page
was
just
capable of.
crashed.
So
The
as
Pro
we
R
were doing
specs
stunts,
page.
it was coming to me and I'm like,
Is it struggling?
Derek just
instantly
said
gave me
the
that
Pro R
comfort as a
4
driver driver of
specs
how
pages
capable it
down.
really was. Man, the suspension is really what impressed me the most. I had so much
What if
comfort
that's
in
ever
it as a
happened for the
driver
Harley
knowing
Davidsons of
that
the
it was
world?
there for me, even if I was to mess up.
Man, it was huge. Was there one stunt in that video you did with Hoonigan that was just kind of beyond anything you could have imagined?
I would say the stair set jump is my favorite, but that freeway jump was insane. I mean, having the freeway under it kind of doesn't give it the depth, but the ramp itself
Pro
is
R
almost 17
4
feet tall.
seater
So the instant I left
ultimate
that
trim
ramp,
is
I was already
42,000.
20
Yeah.
feet in the air plus.
And they're not
Barely
showing any
caught
other
the
trim
last
other
minute
than the
landing
ultimate
there on
trim.
that jump. So luckily it all worked out. That Pro R
And
suspension was
the Turbo
there for
R
me on that one, let me tell you
4-seater
what. But, yeah, just that-
starts in the
that was
sport
definitely
trim
the
at
gnarly stuff.
30,000.
You're my hero.
It goes up to the ultimate
That
trim
was
at
insane. I thought,
36,000.
How could it get crazier? Oh, I know what you do. You take RJ and
They got a
our friends
cool
here at
looking
Foust,
blue and
you
gray
invite them to
color
a
scheme
track
for
to
their
take out the
Turbo
new
R
RZR Pro R and the RZR Turbo
premium
R
trim,
and
blue
push
slate.
these
Looks
things
pretty
to
hot.
the
Yeah.
absolute limit. So
I'm just
naturally,
thirsting
we're
over
gonna load it with cameras
Rutledge's
so you
hair.
can see
I've
exactly
got hair
what it looks
jealousy.
like to push one of these new machines to the max.
RJ, we made it. I mean, it's a cool, crisp Southern California desert day. We've got an insane track behind us, all groomed and prepped, and two ridiculous machines
will
to
be
rip.
the first one to
This
admit
is your normal Tuesday
I'm a bit of a
event.
Tanner
I'll tell you what,
Foust
Dan, I'm like a kid on
fanboy.
Christmas here.
That dude's rad.
He's got some skill set
He
and some
is rad.
personality for sure.
Brand new Pro R and Turbo right behind us. I'm looking forward to shredding these things and seeing what they got and maybe having some fun out there with you.
I had never seen the Turbo R before. I've caught a couple glimpses
Turbo R
of the
4-seater
Pro
ultimate
R,
is
but
2169
it is absolutely ridiculous.
pounds.
You can see why they call it a game changer
And
because, I
the
mean, there's so much
Pro
going on
R
here. I can't
4-seater
wait to actually rip
website
it
just went
and
down,
it'll be my
so
first time
you'll
doing
have to
it.
wait.
But I know that you're going to shred it. Now, this is kind of the stuff
I just
you do
got
all the
asked if
time,
I'm
so
getting it yet.
I'm going to follow you first. Are you ready
Stay
to do
tuned.
This is my wheelhouse. I say we have some fun.
it? All right.
This is where you wait for them to put all their required gear on.
Oh yeah, this is when you get all that slutty B-roll.
I think I'm going to root the out of you.
Attaboy.
I'm glad they let that play.
It'll be really interesting to see where it comes in line as far as, you know, in and out of the corners and all that compared to the 2-cylinder.
You know, being in the position I'm in, I know that the marketing team. Oh man, that's a cool shot.
I was just calling out those
Yeah.
rear GoPro shots the other day.
The marketing department at Polaris has switched hands so many times over the last couple of years. They are nailing it on this portion of the release.
Yeah, no,
This is
their
what they should
production
have let off
value.
with.
Yeah, they should have definitely let off with this. They're also probably given free reign to go have fun with creative content, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of awesome
Yeah,
stuff.
I would think so.
Dirt in my teeth.
Yeah. I think you do.
So Tanner
That's good
obviously
stuff.
won. He's already in his ball cap and out of the car.
honestly, I never would have thought, looking at this track, this is something that we'd be jumping around on
Dale
bone
just
stock
said the Pro
machines like that.
R4
Two
Ultimate
separate
weight
bone
is
stock
2,500.
machines. I've had a little time in the Pro
That's a
R
bear.
before. First time in the Turbo R.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
What's your overall thoughts?
Well, it seems like side by side, the Pro XP pushed it to a level, and now I think the game has totally been changed. This is longer, it's beefier, stronger,
I like the color schemes.
bigger engine, like
Can't go
everything
wrong with
has
gray
kind
and
of
black.
reset the bar.
Well, just with the
So
red and everything,
I don't
I'm a
think it's
fanboy
even
for
a
red on black.
comparison.
I agree. Not one, but two next level machines.
First of all, this isn't even a course that's like made for these. This is made for a motocross track. That's a 90.
I don't know if anyone's called it out yet,
yeah.
but 74 inches wide.
It lands like you're on a dirt bike or something. With 74 inches of
Oh,
width
there you
though
go.
on this little beast. I mean, you had to. I saw you throwing it into
74
the berms.
inches?
What track is
hard.
that?
I
Did
don't
they
know if
say?
I've seen you throw it into the berms that hard before.
Not sure
So
yet.
I was
Is that
coming
Helen?
out of the inside of that corner and giving it everything I had, and
believe
here you
so.
come every time around the outside, just
I guess it's
flying by me.
California.
I'm like maybe a little more than half throttle through there, and I could hear you're pinned, and I felt bad. I didn't want to blow you away too fast. You got races coming up. You don't want your like confidence completely squashed like that.
What about those whoops? Those are big whoops.
We're freaking hauling over those things. Complete control, like I could steer in the whoops, I could slow down, speed up.
Yeah,
But if
those
you're not
whoops are
doubling
meant for a
whoops, you're
dirt
just
bike
not
to
a big
jump
dog.
through. And we're just tackling them like they're not even there. It's pretty crazy.
It's unbelievable right off the showroom floor what they can do. Tons of power, unbelievable strength to put up with all that.
Talk about a game changer. No other machine can you bring out here, box stock, and go through this track.
What I
like we
really
did
want to
today.
know is how long
I'm ready
ago
to
this
do it
was
again.
filmed.
Done.
I'd be willing to say that that was
RJ,
probably
it looked
last
like you
fall.
and Tanner had
I
a
think it's
blast
probably
out
within the
there.
last
And
90
again, I
days,
can't say this
honestly.
enough. In two bone stock RZR Pro R and the RZR Turbo R, were you blown away by what y'all were able to do in stock machines?
Yeah, that track was an absolute blast. I'd had some time in the Pro R before, so I gave Tanner the keys to the big boy. I've
Eric on
never seen the
YouTube
Turbo R
commented, his
before,
four-seater
so
gonna
that track
cost
was the
more than
first
my
time
crew
even
cab
laying eyes on
Lariat.
it. We absolutely tore up that track. It was a motocross track. Big lips, fast turns, gnarly rhythm
Sergeant Dirty
sections, and
Dad, Pro
two
R
stock
naturally
machines,
aspirated.
two
Yes,
totally
it
different
is.
machines. Tore it up, no problem.
Wonder if they will make a turbo kit.
225
I guarantee you
horsepower.
they will make a turbo kit.
From
Somebody
the
will.
dealer,
Yeah.
Ready to rock. RJ, thank
Again,
you
this
so
is just
much
the
for taking out
same
new
two-cylinder
RZR Pro
doubled up,
R
so-
and RZR
Eric
Turbo
goes-
R out for a
Eric goes,
no-holds-barred
it says
off-road
RJ
vision.
looks like the actor
Thanks,
from
fellas.
Burn Notice's brother.
The Baja 1000 is arguably the most
Attaboy, Wayne.
iconic and grueling
Wayne's got
off-road
two.
racing
He's taken
event
to
there
the
is.
races this weekend,
Wayne
so look out
Matlock,
for this
he's
guy.
won it 7 times, and he's about to go for 8. Only this time, it's going to be behind the wheel of the new RZR Pro R. Wayne, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Man, this is so cool.
I like
You've
that hat.
got to be really confident in this new machine to take it to Baja only a few weeks after it's been launched. So talk about what you've been doing to really prepare yourself.
He's had it for a
and the
lot longer
vehicle
than
for this
since the
insane
launch.
challenge.
Our Facebook
You know, we've
video
been
just
dreaming
froze.
about this vehicle for years, and we finally got it. This thing has, the suspension's just unbelievable on it. It's
All right, we're
built
good.
super tough, and what a better environment than the Baja 1000.
I think that was just AT&T.
Yeah.
It is the most insane race, I think, in the world.
Yeah, it's, you know, arguably the most grueling nonstop event in the world as far as off-road racing goes. It just, so many different terrains and stuff like that. You've got deserts, you got mountains, you got beaches, and they throw it all together, and then you do it again and again and again. And hopefully we get it done in about 29 hours.
It's crazy. I mean, now this vehicle is brand new to all of us, but that's not quite the case for you. You've really been helping a lot on the testing side with the RZR Pro R. So having
Yeah,
that
like
in
2
your
years worth.
pocket, I mean, is that a great competitive advantage for you with this?
All right,
Yeah, I would say
comments
so.
have
I
slowed
mean,
down. What do you guys think of this
we've
thing?
been
Come on,
testing
fire
this
them
thing,
up.
trying to figure out the faults and stuff like that, and it's been bulletproof so far. This
I just
thing
wanna know who
is
wore the flannel
just
better.
Awesome, right out of the
Me?
box.
Polaris is dedicated to expanding what's possible
See this
for
beard?
side-by-sides and
but
enabling
he's got a
drivers
party
like
in the
you
back,
to
you
really
don't.
push the bar. The funny thing is, you're not the only Matlock that's out there pushing boundaries. Your wife, Kristen, also races.
Yeah, she races too, and it's been a good thing for us with Polaris.
So one thing I
You
didn't
know,
check was
I
if
have
he's
an
running
issue,
the
she might not
turbo
have an issue,
class
she'll
and she's
take the
running
win.
the
So
four-cylinder,
she's upset
or-
a lot of
running
feelings
NA.
with the guys out there.
She's always on
and it's
NA,
been fun
so-
to watch.
Thanks for being with us, Wayne. Good luck in Baja.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
But I'm not sure if she's running the new car
Well,
or
that
not.
about wraps it up for us,
Dustin was
everyone.
saying they
Thank
just
you
keep
all
going
for
up on
joining us for the
price, you
first
know,
look and
hopefully
deep
that
dive
translates to a
into
better
the
machine,
brand
though. I
new,
mean,
game-changing
You can't
RZR
go up in
Pro
product
R
without
and
going
up in
RZR
price.
Turbo.
42K
As pioneers in the
is
side-by-side
nothing compared to what I
industry,
have in my
Polaris
car.
is committed
You
to
know, so I
furthering
mean, if
the
they come
sport,
out with something that's
expanding
banging right off
recreational
the
and
bat,
professional off-roading
then it's worth it.
capabilities, and most of all, providing an epic adventure for everyone who gets behind the wheel of a
SL
RZR.
said
The
too
new
much money
RZR
for me to
Pro
get out of my
R will
Turbo
be
S.
hitting your local
Well,
dealer
Turbo
in
S is a great
early
car,
2022,
so it's hard to
and the RZR
justify that.
Turbo
But
R
if you
will
want this
arrive
kind of
in
suspension
spring of
upgrades and those kind of
2022.
shocks and everything
Until then,
else, I
visit
mean, you gotta pay for it.
razor.polaris.com
Derek's
or
asking
contact
what
your
toy
local
hauler or
dealer
deck's gonna
to
fit
learn
that
more
four-seater.
about the revolutionary new RZR Pro R and
Your
RZR
trailer purchase had
Turbo
a lot
R.
of things in
the
mind.
many
Yes,
ways
sir.
they raise the bar for off-road power, strength, control, and most of all, next level adrenaline and non-stop fun. I'm Rutledge Wood, and I'll see you out there.
SL just commented, too much money for me to get rid of my Turbo S. Don't get rid of your Turbo S. It's awesome.
I literally just discussed that.
Yeah.
I know where I fall in your.
I was just too busy thirsting over Rutledge's beard. Is that it?
Is that it? That's all we got. That's it.
That's it, man.
All right. Well,
All
let's,
right. Get at us, man.
let's get back to it, I
Yeah,
guess.
let's,
So,
what do you think?
well, kind of
Yeah.
everything we expected, right?
I think my coffee's cold.
Hey, you were offered.
Hi everyone, welcome to Office Hours.
Whoa,
you are
what do we got
watching
going on
YouTube.
here?
All right, so
You can find.
so Dale just, I can still hear that in the background.
Yeah, you can.
What is this?
There. YouTube auto playing on me.
So Dale just said $50K for the Pro R4 and Desert package. Dale, I need you to do a little more research on that. What is the Desert package actually coming with? Is it a bunch of lighting? Is it?
Well, let's
take a
pull up
look
the
at that.
website. How about that?
Yeah, let's pull up the website. Dale's all over it though. Gilliam's in. What up, boys? Not gonna lie, this car looks dope. I ripped the LACR.
Let's hope the
with,
website is working for us here.
Brent, what track were they on? He would know that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go to
Steve Gagney wants to know what you're getting now that's been released. Trolling you. He's going to get a General. Jake Williams missed the first 30 minutes. Basically, a new car came out, dude. One has a 4-cylinder, one has a 2. What is it? What is 1000 cc? Or no, is it the 925?
925
yeah,
turbo,
925.
181 horsepower.
Same engine,
same Pro
car.
XP motor. Yeah.
Brent, speak in Pacific Northwest, LACR. It's in Palmdale. Okay, yeah. Brent's in that. He's got that SoCal lingo, like when he gives you directions. So it's like, first you got to get on the 10, and then get over to the 5, and then jump off get onto the 405.
That's funny. So
we love Brent.
Let's see here. So the website's having issues. Obviously, everyone's going to check it out. But we can take a look at the 4-seater. I think that one hasn't crashed.
So Dustin just hit up. Where are they going to be classified on as a buggy, then a UTV? Unknown right now, man. I've heard a few.
They didn't say anything about
right.
how these things are being classified.
Right, for sure. I have. The only thing that I've ever heard relative to that was there was kind of a controversy with Score as to whether or not they're going to let that thing slide into a class 10 or if they were going to make their own class for it, specifically for a UTV 2-liter. Unknown as of right now, though, man.
Well, the Best in the Desert did a class for them, right?
On a 2-liter?
For an unlimited, like just whatever you bring.
Yeah.
As long as it's in production.
Right.
So we're going to see them racing, absolutely. But the page we all want to see is currently not loading, so... And I don't think I have a backup page. Let me check.
Yeah, I actually show us as being dark right now on Facebook.
On Facebook?
I think they can hear us, though.
Well, let me check. No, I'm still showing it.
My buddy Buck is pissed because they're only offering a belt. Wait for Can-Am, bud.
Yeah. Can't do much about that. I want to stress again that this is a 10 to 20 year game plan for Polaris. Like this whole Pro XP chassis upgrade was like, first there's this, then there's that, then there's the Pro R, then there's the Turbo R, then there's the clutch option, and then, and if you notice, we had a discussion a long time ago about them getting more niche.
Yeah.
And if I didn't catch the actual trim level for the Desert version, but if they're coming out with it, it just follows along with our theory that they're going to get a whole lot more niche focused with a platform that's more focused,
they should.
more flexible.
Yeah. Can-Am's all over that.
Yeah, Can-Am's been doing that for a while, right?
Tay from Amped Offroad just said the Pro R4 dry weight is 2365. That's a heavy turd, man. I don't mean that in a bad way. That's a big car.
Let's see if we can pull up a cache version or something. Nope. All right.
Matt Kennedy asked what were the horsepower numbers for the turbo. It's 181, so it's the same as that's in the current Pro XP.
Right. No, nothing's changed on the Pro R outside of the suspension. So, so the Pro Turbo R will have the upgraded A-arms, the upgraded front bulkhead, the upgraded trailing arms with toe link, upgraded brakes, upgraded steering. The new, they will not be getting the new high output alternator because they didn't get the new engine, right? So they'll be still at that, 800 watts? Something like that.
Yeah. So SL on YouTube hit us up. Why not put a real transmission in this thing? Why still the CVT? We can wish, but
why bring out all your tricks at once?
Well, the some of the other OEs, we've heard some rumors that we're going to start seeing some manual transmission options or like auto clutch, similar to what Honda and Yamaha are doing currently. Yep. And when I say other OEs, I mean the big two between Polaris and Can-Am. I haven't heard a rumor about Polaris switching to a manual for quite a while, but Can-Am, stand by.
Yeah, no, they're ready for that. So they're calling this the ProStar Fury 2-liter instead of the
Fury.
So it'll be interesting to see what actually is different between the Slingshot motor and this motor. Obviously, I think it's going to be all internal stuff, so maybe it's a different crank, different valves or whatever. But I think we're going to be seeing a very similar motor to the Slingshot, just tuned differently. And then as far as the Turbo R, you know, if the Turbo R comes, did it come with the Fox shocks, or did it come with the? Let's see here.
Thank you too, Matt.
So ultimate trim level. Let's see if specs will load for us. Okay. So if we go down to shocks.
Well, Zach's looking this up.
Nope. So the ultimate trim level 4-seater at least will have the Walker Evans 2.5s, which is just a dropped ball in my opinion.
What? Hold
so
on.
Turbo R. Did it change my trim level? Okay, that's
Is
the
it
sport.
at least a
Okay.
velocity?
No, that's the sport level. Okay, so the 2-seater Pro Turbo R. Are they calling it the Pro R? No, they're not calling out Pro at all. So you have the Pro XP. I didn't even realize that. So you have the Pro XP, and then you have the RZR Turbo R. So they bypass the Pro nomenclature and use that only for the Pro R. So this is literally the Turbo S XP Turbo replacement. So you're going to see the XP Turbo probably phased out if this is what they're doing, unless they want to keep that suspension option in play. But okay, so let's go to the ultimate trim. Okay, so Fox live valve 3.0. So they're doing 3.0 on the front, like we were talking about. You know, what combination are they going to do? So they are doing 3.0s all the way around with the new dual controlled.
That's awesome.
Dynamics. I think that's a winner.
Oh, 100%.
Right out of the gate.
Yep.
And they don't make any mention here of the spring kit on that, but as I had mentioned previously in the week, we're going to be looking at a fairly substantial upgrade on the spring kit, where it may be straight out of the gate pretty viable for most people. You might not have to buy a spring kit right away.
Yeah, we got quite a few people watching live right now, so jump into the comments section. 1 to 10. How did Polaris nail it?
That's a good idea.
And
where does everybody put this 1 to 10?
Where's everybody put this 1 to 10? And if it's a 10, don't put 10. Put, oh, yeah.
So let's see here. We didn't talk about, did they talk about clearance? What's the clearance on this? So ground clearance, 16 inches. That's a pretty substantial upgrade. I mean, they went from 13, I think, right?
Skeeter says 8. I would agree.
I think it's a solid 8.
Yeah, I think the premium model is a hard 8. You know, I mean, if I get behind the wheel of it, I mean, you could talk me into a 9 or a 10.
So on the screen here, we have a little bit of some imagery around the new DV shocks. So you'll see that previous generations, you had 2 little meters, or you had a little meter next to each wheel showing you where your rebound, your compression was set. On the new setup, you're going to have both rebound and compression. So your compression is the value coming from the top down, and then your rebound is from the bottom up. You're going to have 4 different modes that will change the rates and the reaction time on those. They're going to be desert, Baja, trail, comfort, all that stuff. So Baja, rock, track, and comfort.
All right. So Salty Box Reef gives it a 7. Reap gives it a oh yeah. Matt Kennedy gives it an 8.7, but still gives it a oh yeah. And Vinnie Max had the most interesting comment. He said, crazy big cars. Here in Minnesota, we have a 2,000-pound weight restriction, and the max width is 65 to utilize public trails and land. And to get a trail sticker, they will tear up trails at that weight. Absolutely right. It's interesting that you said that, and shout out for the Bones Brigade avatar.
And I think everybody, when this whole thing started, when everybody was saying 2-liter wasn't going to happen, I think everybody's so focused on getting trail certified, right? Tagged for trail. I don't think they care. I think this car is targeted for the West Coast, and it's targeted for the dunes. It's targeted for Baja. It's targeted for, getting it out there, not necessarily being trail friendly. So I would say that you're probably looking at these cars not selling very much anywhere outside of the Southwest.
Yeah. Yeah, you might be right, man. Cody, our homie from UTV Takeover, gave it a 9.5 all day. Said the only thing he doesn't like is the axle through the front shock. You must have tuned in late. I was butthurt about that one. Oh, Kelvin joined. What's up, Kelvin?
Shout out Northwest UTV.
Yeah, so they really didn't go into detail on the A-arms and trailing arms. Exactly, and those things look like you could harpoon a freaking whale with those things.
Yeah, they didn't really talk about the toe link and all that very much.
I want to see the trailing arms. Oh, 100%.
I was actually surprised with how little detail they put out. Now, that being said, They do have a tradition of putting out like 15 videos after the launch video.
Right.
So let's go take a look at their YouTube and see what's going on there.
Brent Gilliam just commented about being tagged for trails. I know, right? We West Coasters are spoiled.
Now, that being said, how many people are going to take these on the trails anyways?
Yeah, Salty Box just goes still going to get gapped by X3s with a tune unless you put a real turbo or put a turbo on it. True that.
All right, so it looks like they've dumped a whole bunch of videos, including some walkarounds and hands-on stuff. So do we want to see any of these?
Well, I'm really interested in the dude in the polo shirt because nothing says off-road and horsepower like corporate America.
All right, so we have an accessory. They're really pushing accessories on this launch. There's a lot of accessory videos. Engine and power. Let's watch that one.
Hi, I'm Jen.
And I'm Dan.
We're from the Powertrain Group.
Hi, Jen and Dan.
Today we're here to tell you about the engine in the new
About-
RZR Pro R, the Pro Star Fury 2.0. We're going to cover some different performance characteristics and design elements that is really the heart and soul.
I've always wanted one of those cutaway
behind the
engines.
RZR Pro
Those things
R.
are cool.
This engine is the industry first 2.0 liter, 4-cylinder, naturally aspirated, high revving engine, delivering 225 horsepower. The RZR Pro R offers 3 unique drive modes: Rock, Sport, and Race. Rock mode offers a more controlled, linear throttle
That was the best
response
look of the
for tight
A-arms I've seen
trails,
yet.
technical terrain, and of course,
Notice she didn't say
rock
that there was
climbing.
a 530s
Sport
mode setting.
is slightly more aggressive
Yeah, somebody
and
will
used
figure
for
out a way to
general
put it on.
everyday driving. Race mode is the most aggressive throttle
Race
response,
mode.
aimed at
I would like to see
delivering
the
power straight to
clearance
the ground for that
of the
excitement
axle
that all
and the
RZR
eyelet at full
customers
droop.
know and love.
So Reeve goes X3 all day, but Polaris is doing some good things. Wait till you see what Can-Am has coming.
A contour bore allows for much better low-speed throttle control while having a much larger throttle, which delivers more power. After the throttle, we go into the intake manifold, which has large, high-flow intake ports leading into the 93mm cylinder bore with the 73.5mm stroke.
Can't wait to see what Brian Crowder and team do to that motor.
Stellite hard-facing on the
TPR.
exhaust valves and the most durable exhaust seats in the industry so that you don't have to have last check for 10,000 miles. At the front of the engine,
They're
we
calling
have
it a 10,000
harmonic
mile
damper,
motor. I think
which
that's
drives a high-output alternator, so you can run all
That's
the
optimistic.
That's optimistic.
In addition, the engine features a hydraulic
Oh, Matt
ratcheting
Ray's on.
chain tensioner,
What's up, Matt?
which requires no service.
We gave this engine a 12.5
Southern
to 1
Oregon wheelie
compression
champ.
ratio. You can see the
Brandon's
pistons are
on?
very lightweight and high compression.
Matt.
But we also have a knock sensor, which ensures that you're not going to run into knock issues out on the trail.
This high displacement, high revving engine allows for a unique sound. The engine roar is unmistakable.
The crankshaft is
They really
super low
cranked the gain on
inertia.
that one.
The flex plate
Sounded
and
like a
drive
Honda
system on
Civic.
this engine are also very low inertia, which makes it eager to rev and very fast throttle response. Another design element of this engine is the closed deck cylinder construction. It provides stability to the head gasket so that it can handle the high compression of this engine. The drain backs from the cylinder head go directly
don't
to the sump,
see how it's
which helps keep the front
a
chain
high
case
compression
dry.
motor.
But the front chain case is
So when
also
Can-Am drops a
scavenged so that in
3-speed
high
and
attitude
300
conditions,
horsepower,
it keeps
people are
all
gonna be
the oil
ticked.
into the sump and doesn't allow it to go places it shouldn't. Another unique feature of this engine is a reed valve in the crank chamber. Every time the piston goes down, it pushes all the blow-by gases and oil back into the sump.
Oh,
It keeps
blow-by.
windage low and reduces friction. So the lube system also has several windage trays and
Blow-by
baffle plates.
lube
That
system.
allows the vehicle
What
to
website are
tackle
you on here,
dynamic
dude?
conditions without losing any oil pressure.
So you're able to operate in a wide range of different angles and technical terrain, like rock climbing, without the fear of losing any power. So
I'm interested to
speaking
see
of
how
the
the
oil
chassis
system, the engine has
below
been
the
designed
4-cylinder
with
has been
hot and cold
modified
sides
to
of the
protect it.
engine.
It looks like it's a little
Taking
bit
service into account.
sits a little bit lower.
Service point on this engine are very convenient. Easy to access dipstick and oil filter.
I wasn't the
make
only
for
one that
very clean
commented on the
oil
old
changes
VTEC.
on the cold side of the engine.
Cody
This engine
Brown's
has a
wanting to know
giant
what
stack plate oil cooler,
if
which
Can-Am
keeps the
comes
oil
out with
cool
something
under
like
the
that,
most
it's going to be
demanding
60K.
conditions.
Maybe.
Let's talk
It'll
about the
be
drive
worth
system
it.
a little bit.
Well, and Can-Am's not scared to charge it either.
The crankshaft is coupled to a very light
What's the
flywheel,
compression ratio
which
on
is
that
mounted
4-cylinder?
a
That's probably
torsional
posted.
isolated coupler. This
It's
drives
probably in their
the
tech
CVT
manual.
system and
If
isolates
Dale's still on,
all
Dale
the
probably tracked that
secondary
one
torsional
down.
vibration from the engine to the CVT.
So this design allows for improved clutch durability.
In closing, you've seen how the ProStar
I want to see
2.0
him tear apart
engine
the
delivers
diff
fastest throttle
and show that
response, the
off.
most power, and the highest strength for the most
Now,
grueling terrain.
how long until we get an alternator belt blown off?
12.5 to 1 on the compression ratio. That's nice.
Oh, I clicked on something wrong.
So Reap just commented, will the new RZRs? Oh man, I don't even know if I should say this. Will the new RZRs come with dual fire extinguisher standard? Too soon, man.
With that much mass, it should stay a lot cooler, I think. All right, so let's see. We saw the engine. Introduction, we don't need to see that. Accessories, Dune Collection, don't need to see that. Accessories, Dune Collection.
Why not? Yeah, the hell with it. Go to some of the accessories. Let's see what they're trying to build for this thing.
Well, they're just going to be throwing you light bars, and bumpers, and winches, and
hopefully like spare tire carriers and stuff.
Durability. Let's talk Pro R durability. That looks like a good one. Maybe they'll talk about the dom thickness and everything.
My name is David. I'm Robert. We're here today to talk
I like
about the
Robert.
quality and durability
Shout out to
of
Robert.
the all-new Pro R. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about the heritage of RZR. Back in 2008, RZR came out with an all-new platform in the
They're definitely bringing out all the
sport
Minnesota
category.
employees on this.
Oh, no,
When
no.
it hit the market,
this release.
Polaris
Yeah,
RZR
Matt just
hit the
commented
ground
that we're
running.
gonna have to start pulling
We have
second
not looked back
mortgages to
since.
afford this
Since
hobby.
its inception,
I did that. I already do. I did that years ago.
vehicles have joined the market, all challenging RZR and
Should
creating
do
a
the
competitive
Cummins and
environment.
Jeep game, my man.
Based on that competitive environment, we've been able to produce vehicles
college
like
fund?
Turbo S in the 72-inch market, and most recently, the Pro XP platform. None of them
There was some
compare
comments on
to
the
Pro
turbo.
R.
I don't foresee the
vehicle is
four-cylinder
new
getting
from ground
turboed
up.
by
It is
Polaris.
truly on a new
I foresee
level,
this sitting
and we're
around
gonna
for the
go
next
through
5-6 years.
core
I see it getting
elements today.
turboed by
We'll
Dennis
talk through
Bolton.
those elements in detail.
Yeah.
We've got power, driveline, all new suspension, and all new
I'm just going to
chassis.
go out on a limb here and say...
I hope Dennis is the first. That would be sick.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that in the next few years, we see a triple with a turbo.
The heart of the vehicle
Why not?
is the
Oh, you mean from
225
Polaris?
horsepower.
From Polaris.
Because Can-Am's like, already done that.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
They've moved on.
Ground
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
specifically for the RZR application and anything that the environment can throw at it. We've designed it with new angularity requirements so that when you're doing the harshest dunes and running through the desert, the engine and lubrication system is going to keep up. With that, we've also added a new 1,700 watt alternator, which is equivalent of a 140 amp system. That can
No,
allow
it's
you to run all your
141, dude.
accessories,
I can't wait to
lights,
throw
audio,
dual 18s in that
whips,
thing.
Anything you want when you're out there having a day of riding. We've worked on the service points for the vehicle to make it easier to inspect, get ready to ride, and work on the vehicle.
Vinnie
We've
Max.
separated the
Yeah,
engine
sure,
into
you
a hot and
betcha.
cold side.
Yeah, man.
On the cold side, we have the dipstick, the oil filter, access to the alternator, and allow you to inspect.
One
and
thing on the
service those
four-cylinder
parts.
is the oil filter is right
in a
there,
much
right by
cleaner,
where the shifter
easier
cable
way
used to
than
be.
ever before.
So it's easily accessible where it
With
used
that,
to
we've
be
mated the engine
a
up
chore to
with
get it out of the Pro
all-new
XP.
transmission to be able to handle the power. Inside the
All right, so we're getting a
transmission,
lot
we
more
put a super
comments here.
clutch to allow
Should
if
I
there's any
be
high
like
loads
super
in the front
critical?
that
Should
are
I say
generated,
something
protect the
relatively
transmission with the drive and the
confrontational, controversial? Egg me on.
You can see here on the table we've got one of the drive shafts.
Oh,
drop
drive
shafts of
shafts.
the vehicle. We've enlarged them.
Whoa,
for
that
weight
is
reduction
way
with a
bigger.
tubular style design.
With that, we'll talk over clutching. The
They
physical
didn't talk
size
about
of
the
clutches has
the
grown
joints though.
dramatically.
That Driveline's awesome
In
though.
terms
That's
of
way
that
better than the old
size,
one.
Beefy.
You know, that equates to durability. But more importantly, it's how we are
All
cooling
right,
the
so
belly.
they're saying yes. I
which
should
is a
say
little bit of a
something.
strategy shift
So it's
in terms of how we manage
2022.
In the past, we've
And
just
Polaris has
really put a
finally
lot of
come out
flow
with
rate
something that can
into the clutch
compete with
compartment.
something
Directing
Can-Am
it
came
towards
out
the
with in
belt. In
2016.
terms of the strategy shift,
16 or
we're
17,
really trying
yeah.
to take away
16.
the heat
Yeah, so there
where
it
the heat
is.
is generated, which is at the clutch sheaves. So you'll see that we have
Well,
on the
competing is
vehicle,
a relative
dual
term.
path clutch
Hey,
cooling system
the
that
aftermarket,
pulls
you can
in
build these
fresh
things
air
in
from the
anything that you
front
want, but stock for stock,
delivers
that
air to
Can-Am
the
is
driven clutch
just
on the
stupid.
outer sheave.
Yeah.
It
And on
really
the
is.
back right, we have a bezel that pulls in a fresh air condition.
I'm gonna go out.
And this is coming from a dude that
System
loves
where
the
it pulls
Turbo
in
S.
on
I
the
love
inner
the
side
Turbo
of
S,
the
and I love the
clutch sheave
RZR.
drive, and
But
also
the
inner
X3
side of the
gets
clutch sheave
boring
on
and
the
so
driven
good.
clutch.
I think
That coupled
what we're
together
gonna see
with
is
the
that a lot of
winch
people are
points
gonna
that
love
we
this
put
car.
on, and the
I
strategy
don't
of being
foresee
able
it
to
winning the
force
race
that
over the
air to cool
Can-Am.
the clutch sheaves has ultimately
Maybe in
improved
Baja
their
where it's a
belt
long
life
race, but
dramatically.
anything
You
that's
can
a
also see
shorter race, I don't think these
on
things are
the
gonna win.
belts
If they can keep it
themselves.
cool and keep it
The inner
reliable,
one
watch
is
what
we
happens at
currently use
Dakar. I'll
on the
bet you this
Pro
car would
XP
kill in
and
Dakar.
Turbo S.
Well,
The outer one is the
yeah,
belt
they're
that
going to
we
be at the car for
currently
sure.
use on the
Probably the
Pro R.
Matlocks again, right?
Based on these, the center distance has changed. We've went from
belt's
10.5 to 12, thus reducing the amount of revolutions that need to occur on the belt and the amount of time
that new
actually
clutch
touches
looks
the
pretty
sheath
sweet.
itself. We focused on really reducing that clutch temperature below 300 in the worst conditions. And
below 300? Boy, if you're at 300.
No, I'm absolutely stoked on this thing. It's bitching. But, you know.
So let me show you my favorite thing on Pro R. It's the suspension design.
There we go.
Put a lot of passion and work into this. As you can see, it's completely different than any other RZR Polaris has produced. It's 74
Reeve just went
inches
full
wide.
Fast and
The
Furious. He
two-seat
goes,
has
this thing will
104.5
decimate
inch
all
wheelbase. The
if you put
four-seat
about
has
25 grand in it. We have to
133.5 inch
overnight
wheelbase.
parts from Canada.
With that, you can see there's a lot of differences in the suspension compared to a typical RZR. In a minute, Dave will show you some of those. But
Here we go,
looking at
talking
it, you can see
front
that we have
suspension.
boxed arms on the top and lower for the control arms. We have a 3-inch Foust shock that's going to the lower control arm. We've done all these to improve stiffness and to take the loads of any terrain you can throw at it.
As a program team, we dubbed this thing the 3-foot mogul killer. And we asked ourselves, what are we going to do in order to
Did they really
manage
say
the
that,
loads
though?
it's
Vinny
gonna
Max
take to
just
do
goes
that?
facts or facts. I sold
Based
my
on
XP
that, I
after
gotta
5 years
tell
and have a
you,
new
we delivered in
XD,
spades.
XDS actually. XDS
On the left,
order.
we've got the Turbo S.
Oh, here we
which
go.
is a tubular design. It basically means that in order to take the stress that the lower control arm takes, you have to have a common thickness of tube, which means that you put weight where it's really not needed. In order to minimize the amount of weight of the front suspension,
They got
but yet
that,
give it the
bearing carrier
durability
there,
that
too.
it needs, we went to a boxed cross-sectional area stamped arm section. You can see the massive section where the shock interfaces with the lower control arm.
Nice thick
The lower
joint
control
there for
arm
the
is the
eyelet.
arm that takes the vast
The
majority
Facebook
of the
comments
hits.
are kind of coming in
So
late.
it makes
Kelvin goes,
sense
finish the
to
rock
put
star,
the shock
Chad.
on
Stir the
lower
pot.
control arm, thus increasing the weight slightly, but ultimately lowering the overall package.
That front
of the
knuckle
weight
looked
of the
way
vehicle.
better than previous
so the upper
generations.
control arm can go down in weight. The lower control arm goes up a
Andreas
little
said
bit
who'll
to
be the
cover
first
it.
to add a Pro
There are
Charger and
other
make 350
aspects
horsepower.
on
No
these
lag.
that dramatically change
I'd
the
be all
result.
over
I
that.
like where your head's at,
On
buddy.
the
Yeah, boy.
trailing arm sections, we've got a spherical bearing that's pretty massive.
New sphericals
That's
are
gone
is a
to
good idea.
M14
Yeah.
instead of M12. Also, connecting it to the chassis, on the Turbo S, we were at M12 bolts, and we
Well,
went to a massive M14
they've nailed it
bolts
here.
They just upgraded the
on
bolts to
the Pro
M14,
R.
so you're gonna
We've
get a lot
also
less shear.
implemented a new
Here we go.
automotive unitized hub
Oh, this is what
with a
stirs
5-lug pattern
Zach's
instead
pot.
of 4. So the Turbo S had 4, and this is a common 4.5-inch stud pattern used
There
in
you go,
automotive
4.5-inch
today.
stud. They didn't really talk about how
So
you might
talking
have to
about
buy
the
a whole new
chassis
one
and
if you
roll
want to
cage,
replace it.
We designed an all-new from the ground-up system. Knowing the loads and capability of this vehicle, we had to start above and beyond where Turbo S and other vehicles left
Buck,
us.
this is a children's
So
show.
we've designed a
Watch
system
out
that's
now.
over 2 times stiffer than those. That allows you to be in control no matter what terrain or where you're riding. Along with that, Polaris has developed a fully welded one-piece roll cage that attaches to the chassis with a new innovative joint that we've designed. It's a taper lock design to give you more strength and stiffness, providing again over 2 times stiffness. So no matter what terrain you run over in this vehicle,
Everyone likes
it's gonna
more
be there
stiffness.
for you.
So in
You just
closing,
called out
on
Buck.
the 5 pillars of
My bad.
durability
My
and
bad,
quality,
Buck.
we've got power. We're delivering 225 horsepower, leading the industry. All brand new driveline.
So
to
do
be
you see
able
a
to
spring
drive that
update from
power down
Can-Am
to
that
the
says,
ground.
oh, everyone gets a free
All new
upgrade?
suspension to make this the most
ECU
capable
tune.
vehicle that is in an OEM package today.
But yeah, I mean, you
And
said
we coupled that
224
in with the
horsepower,
chassis and
225
roll cage
horsepower
to be able to
industry
pull all
leading.
of those
Well,
pieces
Can-Am's
together.
rated at 200,
We
like
focus
195
on
to 200,
desert and
and it's
dune
putting
as our
200 to the
primary
tires.
customers to ensure
Let's,
that
you know,
in those
I can't wait to see
heated
what Evo
climates, we have a
gets
vehicle
to the
that can
ground
handle the rigors
on
of
this
the
thing.
terrain and the wide open spaces.
With all
Through
the
that testing mileage,
frustration they've had
Polaris has
getting
been
the
able to
Polaris
take
to
the
actually
heritage
perform,
of
I would
RZR,
say that they
which is
probably
power, suspension,
aren't going to see a
and agility,
big thing out of
and
this car
convert that into
anytime
power
soon.
and
As
total
heavy as that
control,
4-seater is, you
delivering
got to
you
have
the
about
highest
190
performing,
to 200 to
most
the tires
capable
just to get that
vehicle
sucker
in the
moving.
side-by-side world to date, delivered from an OEM.
They didn't really give us much clarity on anything there, did they?
Oh man, we got our first hater.
Hey, if we got haters, we're doing something right.
Yeah.
All right, suspension, Pro
How do you
R
change the
suspension.
front axle? The shock has a fork at the bottom that spans the axle. You use a Pro Eagle, you lift it way the heck in the air, like way in the air, or use a winch. It does look like a bit of a process.
It looks like you got a good half-inch of clearance on that eyelet when it's at full
I'll be
droop.
talking
Yeah,
you
for sure.
through the overall dimensions of this machine. We spent a lot of time working on the ultimate
Pro armor
package
doors.
as far as length and width
Not a
to
fan.
accomplish our goals of
Yeah, the
vehicle nimbleness,
TMW is going to kill it
yet
on this
straight line
thing.
stability through big bumps.
I mean, the chassis hasn't changed,
We really
so
wanted to
Right.
make
they're
this
already
thing a
good-looking
mobile
stuff. For
sure.
sure.
And so we started with a 74-inch wide overall width. And on the two-seater, it has a 104.5-inch wheelbase length. The multi-pass is a 133.5-inch wheelbase. So this machine here is the Dynamics DV equipped machine. Comes with four
said
modes:
multi-pass.
Rock,
What's
Comfort,
that?
Track, and Baja. We feel that those four
Baja.
modes give you the best of all worlds for every type of terrain riding that you can do.
Hey,
The
website
front
loaded.
suspension, it's controlled by, on this vehicle here, is the Foust Shocks X2 our Dynamics DV system. It also comes with adjustable crossover
Yeah, Jake, I
rings
saw that. Somebody was
and
angry.
springs
Probably 'cause
that
I shaved my
have
name in his
more
mom's back
validation
hair.
than we've ever done before. The front shocks on our other models come with a Walker Evans 2.5-inch size shock with adjustable crossover rings, adjustable preload, and adjustable compression damping control.
Brandon, that's never
Talk a
a
little
good
bit
thing.
about the front
With the belt
suspension
wet.
architecture. The first thing you
Tend to
probably
agree
notice
with you
is how
there.
the front
Here we go.
shock is connected to the lower control arm. This was done for three big reasons. One is lighter weight. It allowed us to take all the mass of
False.
the upper control arm where typically the shock is connected to and put it down on the lower control arm. That lower control arm already has to be strong to absorb all the rock hits and the abuse that our customers typically throw at it. Since we put all that weight down low too, that also helps with the vehicle center of gravity. That's the other reason we did it. It moves the whole shock down and it moves all the mass and control arms down. As you can
Thanks,
see,
Kelly.
our upper control arm is very simple, very lightweight, stamped clamshell design. Lastly, by moving that shock down, we were also able to improve our sight lines of the entire vehicle, which
What?
helps improve the whole driver's experience. We found that
The
to be
shock
a
was
really
never
big deal,
visible.
especially when you're in gnarly terrain or going up and down hills.
Maybe if you're
Another
holding your
feature
head
we
out the
noticed
side.
is how we have the shock straddle the half shaft. By straddling the half shaft, we're
at
able
that
to
knuckle.
center all the forces on that control arm,
Look at
which
that
allows for the
fork
most efficient
straddling
design
the
possible.
half shaft.
Another cool thing we did with the suspension system is race-inspired three-piece stabilizer.
Can't wait
bars
for
on the
Robbie's
front and
comments.
the rear. Forged aluminum arms tied together with a heat-treated steel.
Here's your sway bar
center
upgrades.
section.
That's beefy.
So in addition to everything Alex told you about the front suspension, we also have an all-new
Did you
steering
see
rack.
that weak tie rod?
It features industry-first rack mount EPS, where the motor is mounted to the rack housing itself, which delivers a lower center of gravity and reduced weight of the vehicle. So here on the table we have one of the new lower control arms, which as Alex mentioned are stamp construction, which lets us put the weight where we want it. That makes the most sense. to
Stamp
make the most
construction
efficient
means
arm.
everybody's
This
upgrading
arm
to
features, larger
HDR
suspension bushings
the week
with
they get the
M14
car.
bolts, as well as new spherical and a new larger
I'll have to
ball
ask
joint
Brandon if
compared
they
to
got
past models.
the model in for
Okay, so continuing
mock-up.
outward on the vehicle, we're using a unitized wheel bearing assembly, which delivers a stiffer wheel end, improved durability, and much improved serviceability on the wheel bearings. So the Pro R also features forged aluminum knuckles, both front and rear, paired with larger suspension sphericals and ball joints on both ends of the vehicle. The all-new trailing arms on the RZR Pro
those
R,
front knuckles are way
which are stamped
beefier.
steel construction, features
Double
some
shear
new,
in the back,
packaging
that's
integration
awesome.
for
Yeah.
a MaxLink suspension. And then we have the toe link, which we'll discuss elsewhere in this video. And the rear has a different packaging arrangement for the new big sphericals, as well as the new rear knuckle arrangement.
To control the wheel through the 29 inches of travel, we implemented
29
an
inches of travel.
industry-first adjustable toe link.
Taylor called that
Probably
one.
one of the first things you can see on the rear suspension as it passes through the trailing arm and connects to the frame. This design gives us really good bump steer control through travel. The next
What?
thing you may see on the
How
rear
does that
control
help
arm
bump steer?
is a race-inspired debris guard. We found through testing that it dramatically reduces the amount of rocks and debris getting into the rear wheel and causing damage. Again, same as the front.
I
we have
appreciate
the
them putting
3-inch
video
internal
to a
bypass
$25 part.
Foust live valve X2 shocks, coupled with our Dynamics DV system.
Especially
On our
going to
other
the 15-inch
models, we
rim.
have
I mean,
a
that's
3-inch Walker Evans
not really as big of a
Velocity
deal.
series, adjustable crossover rings, adjustable
Rogue Valley
preload,
Side by Side
and
Club. This
adjustable
thing
compression
might have a
damping.
hard time on some of our
Out
trails
back, we
down here in
beefed up
Southern
both
Oregon.
radius rods
You know what?
with the
I will
lower
bring my
one 90
80-inch
which
Can-Am
complements the
down there,
16
and
inches of
let's go
road
try
clearance.
that out.
All right, thanks for
That's not
watching
me.
us talk
That's not me
about the
trolling. I just want to
Maxlink
go ride with you
suspension.
guys.
That'll give you the confidence and durability to tackle the most aggressive
Kelvin, I
terrain
would tend to
in
agree.
All right, we're running out of videos
Reeve
here.
goes stamped, not fabricated.
Driveline and clutching.
G-Life helps bump steer by reducing toe that plague Turbo S's.
I mean, I guess. I
You
think
know-
the front has more to do with
You know
the
what?
back.
Extreme Performance out of
Polaris
San
Pro R
Bernardino had a
driveline
fix for that Turbo S for that very thing.
And I'm
Good comment, G-Life.
Jason said we're going to talk about everything on this vehicle, driveline related. Starting
I
from
wanna know what the
front
bump on the hood
following
is.
The prop shafts back through the clutches to the rear drive and
Herpes.
the transmission. What we have here on the table is Turbo S half shaft assembly and the Pro R half shaft
So
assembly.
thicker shafts
If you notice
on
the
the,
construction between these two
axles.
is very similar. We have the bar in the middle and we have the CVs at the end. However, on the Pro R, we have much bigger components. The bar diameter is much bigger, as well as the CV belt
Those
at the
axles
end.
are way bigger.
Another
Yeah.
thing you can't see on the table here is the grease internal to the CV assembly. The grease is high temp, which really allows you to get that performance of that Pro R, all that speed, and not have half shaft issues with boots getting torn in the field. The other thing you notice here on Pro R is the unitized hub.
sweet if
This
it
is
were
our
serviceable.
industry first automotive style hub. The first thing you notice is it's got 5 lugs. The typical RZR has 4 lugs today, but on Pro R, with all the power we have, we need to have more clamp load to keep the wheels
You know,
on.
we've been
So
talking about the
this is
industry going to
first for us.
5 lug and
The other thing
15
you
inch
notice on
for
this
quite a
is the
while,
knuckle
and it
itself
just
is aluminum.
seems like
The
everything's
knuckle
about 2
being
to 3
aluminum
years
helps
behind.
get rid of some of the weight that we added with all these big components here. So all in,
Production's
we're able
always
to manage
behind
the weight
demand.
in a way that we can get the performance we need out of the vehicle and not be overweight when it comes to the total vehicle.
And then moving
I'm
over to the
stoked
prop
on that
shafts,
bearing
what I
carry
have here
knuckle
is
assembly.
this is a
That's
RZR
'cause
Pro
you're a
R
nerd.
prop shaft. As you can see, it's very large. It looks heavy, but don't
I like
worry, it is
a nice
hollow.
thick shaft, too.
There are
That's-
2 shafts, the one that connects the front
Hey.
drive to the transmission,
Huh?
and a second that connects the
thick
transmission to
drive
the rear
shaft.
drive. If we compare that to Turbo S, you can see the size difference.
And I like those.
The
Oh,
benefit
man.
of the larger
Look at
hollow
that
prop shaft
thickness.
on the Pro
Who doesn't
R
like
is that
more
all the
thickness?
material is utilized
This guy's
on the OD
ripped.
of the part,
You see how he
allowing for
just
much
curls
higher
that?
torsional
No.
rigidity.
This guy skipped
We have
chest
a new
day.
architecture on the RZR Pro R. The transmission and the rear drive are separated now and connected by a rear prop
Jason,
shaft.
do you even lift?
The front drive is also connected by this larger front prop shaft.
Which means you're going to get some
The
awesome
torque limiter inside the transmission
differential upgrades.
is basically like a series of clutch packs. That series of clutch packs allows in the overall durability of the driveline system on this vehicle. Moving into the next system
I'm stoked
of the
on the
vehicle,
new
clutching.
4-wheel drive.
On the table here, we have a comparison of the Turbo
Hopefully
S
that
clutches
trans
and also
can
the
handle
Polaris
the
Pro R clutch system.
dual shaft
Looking at the drive
setup.
clutch, the first thing you notice is overall size. The size of Pro R is so much bigger, durability-wise as well as cooling capacity.
From-
On the system is
He's
the
not
Pro R,
lying.
which
Yeah,
really
it's bigger
helps when
than
you
mine.
bend the belt around the clutches from a
Never
bending
mind.
frequency standpoint. It really helps lower the heat and helps really improve your belt life.
So his belt has like the KR.
Did they talk about front end travel yet? It's 27 and 29.
Yeah, it's usually a couple inches less.
Yeah. Thanks, Taylor.
All right. Let's
Taylor's
see.
that was 20 minutes ago. Taylor's used to me ignoring his texts.
Oh boy. All right, we'll do one accessories video, just to.
It better be awesome. Come on now. One
it your
paddled
own.
up. That looks good.
That's why we've developed
Yeah.
over 80 Polaris engineered accessories specifically designed for Turbo R. Created in partnership with some
Cascade,
of the biggest names
they
in
definitely
the
just showed
off-road
off some bigger
aftermarket.
actors.
Ability rigid chase light
Yeah, they've got
to
it.
help groups stay together.
Because they used to be all about making it themselves.
All the accessories were
Right.
developed in parallel with the vehicle itself.
That's a great
So the
color
look is
scheme, by the way.
seamless, and
That one right there is
installation
I
is
don't really
easy.
care about colors, but that thing
3
was
distinct
bitching.
collections: dune, desert, and rugged trail.
Hey,
Help
pause.
organize all the choices so it's
Nailed it. There you go. 3 different packages.
Oh well, those are series of accessories you can buy, but no, I think if you went back and saw that they have this Northwest
Yeah, let's
color
back,
scheme, did you
yeah,
see that?
Back that up a little bit.
Like
yeah.
the Northwest Seahawks edition.
Oh my gosh.
and rugged trail.
Go
Help
Hawks.
Organize all the choices so
Gay
it's
Prado
easy
will
to
be
find
all over that
exactly
one.
What you want.
Oh, influencer segment.
Oh, who we got?
I saw Off-Road Barbie and a couple other
Polaris.
people.
Think outside.
All right, let's kind of wrap this up.
Yeah, man.
Polaris,
All right.
Just to summarize, Polaris drops the Polaris Pro R and now the Turbo S. Or no, Turbo? Did I call that wrong? Turbo R, sorry. So the Pro R and the Turbo R. New chassis upgrades that we've all seen. We're talking about the front suspension. We're talking about the toe link. We're talking about the new bearing carriers. New sway bars, which I didn't really expect them to come with a full-on 3-piece like that. We have the new shocks being 3.0 on the high-end models on the Unlimited. Ultimate packages. That's super awesome. You're still going to be stuck with the Walker Evans 2.5s on the sport models, which is unfortunate. We're seeing upgraded chassis stiffness, one-piece cage, one-piece chassis, separate front and rear diffs that have been upgraded. So rear diff is now out of the tranny and prop driven. Upgraded prop shafts that are the size of a donkey. We have the what else do we got? We got the drive modes. We got the suspension. We got the compression and rebound upgrades on the Ultimate Series. We have 225 horsepower out of the 4-cylinder. They're calling that a new version of the motor that went in the Slingshot, and it's not the same thing, but we all know it's the same thing. We're looking at over 1,500 watts of power out of that alternator, which is awesome. That'll keep the engine firing while you have all your Baja Designs lights on. And
just shy of 142.
What else did we miss? New tires, new Maxxis tires, new trailing arm debris guards.
Which Maxxis tire was on that thing?
They are the Rampage.
That's a new one, isn't it?
Yeah. So if we go to the spec sheet, Maxxis Rampage Fury. So they had a Rampage. Rampage Fury is the new one. Those are 32 1015s all the way around on all four corners. Aluminum rims with a 5-lug pattern, the 4.5-inch pattern that they specified. Up to 27, 29 inches of wheel travel, being the Pro R or the Pro XP chassis. That means it's in a bottom out before the tire lets you bottom the chassis out or whatever. Their usable travel, whatever they call that.
Jason just commented 2-liter with turbo. No, 2 liters naturally aspirated. The 925 is a turbo.
So the Pro R is specifically a 4-cylinder car, naturally aspirated at 225. The Turbo R is the existing Pro XP turbo motor at 181 horsepower on the twin cylinder. So nothing's changing as far as the power plant on that. And neither would be the rear diff on that one because the motor hasn't changed, so the tranny would still be mounted to it. So interesting. We'll see if the front diff has been upgraded on the Turbo R to match the Pro R. That would be interesting. And then, a lot of the chassis remains the same. The Turbo R has the same cage design as the Pro XP, and the Turbo or the Pro R has the new more radius style cage with the gusseting that comes halfway down to your lap, and it looks hideous in my opinion.
Well, nobody keeps cages stock anyway.
Well, actually, you'd be surprised how large the segment does.
I'm just talking about me, and I'm the only one that is important here.
Right. So I just had a thought. Did they keep the Pro XP in the product line?
No. I didn't see that. Did you?
So if I go to the website, I see the RZR Pro XP 2-seater starting at $23,000. I do not see the Pro XP. Okay, so they had the Pro XP 4 as well.
Correct me if I'm wrong, too. We were getting hints that there was going to be a Pro S.
So that's the Pro R is the wider stance, the chassis upgrades to replace the Turbo S. So there's no longer the Turbo S going to be available. It's not on their website anymore. They pulled it off, which was all signaled by the fact that you couldn't order one as of, August. They stopped orders on those. So, yeah, I think production value was high on this. They did a lot of effort to make sure that this product launch went well and looked good and all that. As far as the two models they came out with, do you think the Turbo R is a worthy successor to the Turbo S?
Yes, 100%.
I think it is. And do you think the price upgrade is worth the increase that we're going to see?
I think the Turbo S was worth more than we were paying for it. I think the Turbo S was that awesome. So I would probably say, it's probably priced accordingly now. I know people are kind of upset that it's as expensive as it is, but let's go back to like 2005. If you went to a machinist and said, build me one of these things, he's going to ding you for $50,000. So,
right.
These
well,
things
it's not that much
at
more.
The price point.
If we're looking at the trim levels, you're only looking at $2,000 or $3,000 more than the Turbo S. So,
right.
I don't foresee that being a big ask. Now on the Pro R, seeing 225 horsepower, here's the thing. you went from a 999 cc motor to a 1997 cc motor, where the 2-cylinder was 125 horsepower, something like that, and you went up to 225. So you roughly just under doubled your horsepower by doubling your cylinders. Do you think the price upgrade for that versus a turbo car like the Turbo R being at 181, which can easily be upgraded to roughly 195 to 200 with some tuning, do you think the value prop there is there for that motor versus the fact that you can get a Turbo R for less money than the Pro R and have essentially the exact same car?
Yes, 1,000%. I think it's absolutely worth the extra money. Can you get the 3.0 on the 925? No. So the whole platform is better.
Just because of the shocks?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you get the shocks, you get the extra motor. I don't think anything.
But you're not getting really. You're getting more horsepower.
You're getting headroom. Nobody leaves these things stock. I mean, I said it. I said it when we were at Takeover.
But no one really touches the naturally aspirated motor.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yet. But I mean.
Well, they haven't on the 2-cylinder.
Well, but it wasn't a car. Why would you when you could just jump into a turbo? For roughly about the same amount of money instead of going.
That's exactly my.
1,000.
That's exactly my question.
Yeah,
though.
I don't think anybody's going to buy the Pro R at 74 inches to go do tight trails.
So
they're going to go do desert stuff, and a motor that big probably has a power band that's much more usable, much more flexible,
and on demand.
On demand. And but I mean, at the end of the day, I'm always going to want more power. I mean, heck, dude, when we're at Takeover, I'm on a 3R tune, just a basic 3R tune, which not
has done
slow.
You really well.
Which has done really well. It's not slow, but we get out of the faster group on the night ride, we get into an open area, and I'm on the floor. I've got my throttle to the floor, and I can't keep up with some of those guys. So everybody's fast now. I mean, those days have now changed. I will go by them at the blink of an eye, but nonetheless, I mean, even if I got a Pro R, I'm not happy until that thing's putting at least like 275 to the ground or more.
Right.
And basically because the geometry, suspension geometry, and the 3.0 and all that stuff, it can handle that kind of power. So that's what I want, and it's a heavier car too, so the more power, the better.
Right. Well, then that's kind of where my question is. So
yeah, Chris just commented. He goes, no replacement for displacement. We've been saying that since the 70s. Yeah. So 100%.
So all you guys online joining us for the live stream, let us know if you had 40 grand to drop on a side-by-side right now, and you were looking between the Pro R and the Turbo R, knowing that you have a little bit of money left over for cage, safety upgrades, tuning, whatever. Do you buy a $40,000 upgraded Turbo R, or do you buy a $40,000 upgraded Pro R? So let us know in the comments. The other thing that I was thinking totally went out of my head because I started talking about people online. So I don't know. I think that I personally would like to see the Turbo R upgraded and see how that does versus an upgraded Pro R. I think it'll be a definite. Well, I guess this weekend we're going to see in the races, right? We're going to see everybody down at the 1,000 racing these things. So maybe they show up in force. The other thing I would say, I can't wait to hear that 4-cylinder straight piped. No catalyst, no exhaust, just captain's choice straight out the side.
Yeah. Yeah, we got our first vote for Pro R all day. I would tend to agree with him. And
all you Polaris haters that are joining us, do you still buy a 200 horsepower Can-Am, or do you buy one of the new cars from Polaris?
Yeah, I mean, think about that too. Like how many X3s and how many Turbo S's have you seen for sale in the aftermarket right now with 1,000 miles on it? Guys want $45,000 for it. So, and they sell in a weekend. So this Pro R isn't going to sit on shelves at all. They're going to be gone the second they show up.
Well, I think the market demand is still high, right? They're still itching to buy whatever they can get their hands on, no matter what it is.
Everybody's saying Pro R. Jason said Pro R 1,000%. Another no replacement for displacement. Crypto said 40K cash, and I don't know what I'm going to get yet. Skeeter Pro R. Marty said, yeah, we're going to need a turbo for that 2-liter. I tend to agree. And Skeeter nailed it, 100%. I've been saying it for years. It's still going to drop 20K or more on the car after you get it.
Right.
So,
well, the question is just how fast are you going to drop that? Is it going to be spread out over the next 3 years, or is it going to be all at once?
now with me, I will skip the kids' college and go right after it.
Speaking of which, shout out to Mia getting accepted out to WSU.
Fight for Washington State.
we might have to go to some football games.
I know, right?
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. How about this? You buy the Pro R, I'll buy the Turbo R.
I'll wait for the Can-Am response, and you get the Pro R.
Yeah. Which one would you like to see us buy if we were to bring one into the channel and into the discussion? Would you like to see us dink around with the Turbo R or the Pro R?
Well, yeah, let's let that one marinate for 2 seconds and then let me troll again. So let's just say you've got the option to get a Pro R, which what was MSRP, 40 or 42 for a 2 liter?
For the 2 or the 4?
For the 2.
Why is my mouse? Because I'm not touching the mouse.
2
I'm
liter.
touching the desk. So the base price on a Pro R is 32.
We're talking the Mac Daddy.
So that one went up to 42.
Okay, so 42K for what you just saw on the Pro R. Let's just say that another competitive OE has a triple. It might not even be a triple. We're not 100% sure, but it's going to make 300 horsepower. It's going to have it's going to have a 3-speed transmission, rumored. And let's just say it's in the 42 to 45 range. Which one are you going to get? I think I know
Here's
the
something
answer.
we haven't said at all yet. Pro R versus Speed UTV.
Yeah, for
once
sure.
it comes out.
Yeah, I mean, if that speed car is exactly what we hope it is, it's going to be a bad boy, man.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some serious competition come summer 2022.
Right. That's why I modified the X3. It was an effort to conserve my pocketbook for another couple of years because my car is still relevant, at least power-wise.
So we've had a lot of people asking what's going on with the X3. Do you want to give some build details, or do you want to just say final build coming soon?
Well, it's all speculative. It's a bunch of industry rumors, but so was the Pro R.
No, your X3.
Oh, my X3?
Yeah, we've had a number of people asking, we keep talking about how you have more horsepower, more upgrades, things like that. But we've never talked about what's actually going on with your X3.
Yeah, so my X3 got a dynamite turbo kit, and it's putting down, I've heard on this kit we've seen like 300 at the tires, give or take. My guess is, and one of the guys that's watching right now is Chris from CNC up in Everett. Chris is roading that car, and I think that car's maybe putting down about high 260s. If we're on a good day, maybe at sea level, 50 degrees outside or something, maybe we could get maybe around that 270 mark. It's a bullet, I can tell you that. It's really, really fast. So it's making a ton more power, but in conjunction with what MTS did from a suspension standpoint, it's a totally new car, and it's just frickin' ripping, man. It's a bad boy. So, yeah. So, I mean, in a nutshell, that's kind of what we've done to it. We did a lot of, we stabilized it a lot more by putting in some tough parts, shock tower support. There's really, with the exception of the trailing arms on that thing right now, there isn't much stock anymore about it except the frame. It's just one of those things where you and I have seen guys have an X3 run them up to like 10,000 miles and then everything's been replaced. My car is kind of slowly but surely getting there. So,
yeah. Chris on Facebook was just saying, mentioning the fact that, people have to consider paying $500 a month on a UTV, right?
Yeah.
I would say that while that's a valid point to a large segment of the market, when I was at Sandsport this year and I was observing all the people that were walking around throwing money around, I can tell you right now, there's people ready to pay cash for these cars.
No doubt about it.
And they're not worried about a payment.
No, not at all. They'll sell every one of these they manufacture.
Oh yeah. And I would say that, your payment segment is probably a 50-50 split. You're going to see a lot of people just throw $100,000 at one of these cars, and a lot of the segment just buying stock and sticking stock while they make their payments. So,
Derek said not trying to buy a first-year car, even though it's been around for a few years. I mean, that's a real thing, man. So.
Well, I mean, think about the chassis proven, right? Everybody says it's way better than the XP platform. Everyone says it's more rigid, more stiff. They just said that they're going to upgrade all the stiffness and all the key components of it.
He said stiffness.
We're seeing new trailing arm, new knuckles, new A-arms, new everything. But they did say that these are stamped metal parts, right? These are stamped and welded together on a robotic welder. There's still going to be room for upgrade. There's still going to be room for improvement. I mean, they're not going to cut the aftermarket out on a product launch.
Oh, yeah. Lone Star, Cognito, HCR, they'll be all over this thing.
Right. So looking forward to seeing, what the actual products look like. I think they're going to be pretty gnarly looking when you consider the fact that shock has to go through it and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what those things look like. They're going to be really cool looking. They're going to be really durable. I'm concerned about people blowing out, a ball joint on that front arm and then taking their shock out or taking the axle out or whatever. Those UTV fails in Glamis are going to look a lot more spectacular, I think, in the coming year.
I hope not. I hope they kind of figure, hopefully it's not a problem that rears its head.
They build
too
it stronger.
much,
People are going to send it bigger. It's just what happens.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
So looking at a lot of responses saying that they're going to be going Pro R. A couple people have mentioned Turbo R, just because you can buy the performance upgrades right now, right? It's going to come out, then you can go get the tune.
One way or the other, the amount of power that these things are throwing to the ground, doesn't matter what you get, you're going to be stoked.
I mean, I can't tell you how many countless Pro R's, Pro XPs I've seen tuned up and are just spaceships.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Shout out to Wyatt and Macbeth and all those guys that drive straight up rockets.
And to this day, I haven't been in a machine that is more comfortable and more visible for a driver than a Pro R or a XP.
Pro XP,
yeah, I love it.
So, so let's start the rumor mills on the Can-Ams and the responses to this. Let's see what happens. And if you got details, let us know. Obviously, we try to keep things legit. So don't send us stuff that will get you in trouble, you or anyone else in trouble.
Henry Cruz asked, do they give out torque numbers? Torque numbers, I assume we could probably look it up, but acceleration numbers, haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, they don't publish those.
Right.
The market's going to get interesting. Next year looks interesting. Our one of the highest viewed podcast episodes we've ever had is which UTV to buy in the following year. So I think that'll be a really interesting episode to revisit for you and I and the community. Let us know what you think about the live broadcast today. This is something new for us, something took a lot of brain cells to put this together, but I think I did halfway decent job. If you like this format, let us know. If you like the pre-recorded format better, let us know. It's always good to bring people in. Maybe had some people asking about a call-in show.
Dude, that'd be sick.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
Maybe we just do that separate, like just on the side beyond the podcast.
100%.
So shout out to everybody that put this product launch on today at Polaris. They did a great job. All the engineers look like they put a lot of thought and process into this. The car looks amazing. Obviously, everything is proof in the pudding, right? Let's get these cars out on the trail, out on the desert, see how they do, what kind of temperatures we're seeing, how the durability is. Super stoked, as I've said 1,000 times already on this show, about all the suspension upgrades, and I can't wait to see how that performs and how it handles and all that. So great show. Thanks for joining me in the studio again.
Yeah, no, we've been stoked about this for a long time.
Yeah. And everybody that joined us online, commented, participated with us, thanks for spending your workday lunch period with us. And until the next time, guys, we'll see you in the next one.
Take care.